Chapter 24. At this time, Wang Yao was busy watering the herbs in the herbal field. Under the magical effect of the ancient spring water, these herbs grew exceptionally fast, especially the common herbs he planted, such as gentian, radix ginseng, radix ginseng, radix ginseng, and wolfberry. They grew amazingly fast. In just 1 month, their growth was comparable to that of other places in a year. Woof, woof, woof. San Xian suddenly barked. Yes, there are people here. Wang Yao looked up and saw 2 people walking toward him on the mountain road. One was a woman and the other was a man. He didn't take it to heart. It wasn't until the 2 people slowly approached that he realized that these 2 people might be looking for him. When he got closer, he could clearly see the 2 people's faces. The young woman walking in front looked to be about 23 or 24 years old. Her facial features were exquisite, her skin was white and tender, and her figure was graceful. She was very beautiful. The man behind her was about 40 years old. He didn't have any special features, but his eyes were very bright. When they reached the herbal field, the middle-aged man sighed. "What's wrong, Uncle He?" the woman asked. "These herbs are growing very well." The middle-aged man pointed at several herbs in the herbal field. "Are these herbs?" "Yes, gentian, sand ginseng, papyrus, and wolfberry." "Oh, what are these?" The middle-aged man saw the moonlight herbs that had just grown new leaves. He realized he had never seen them before, so he wanted to go closer to have a look. However, he was stopped by a young man. "Hello, what can I do for you? Are you Wang Yao?" The woman looked at the young man in front of her. He was dressed very casually, but he had a unique temperament. How to describe it? He was like a hermit who hid in the mountains. "Yes, I am." "Hello, I'm Guo Sairu." "Hello." Wang Yao didn't know why the woman in front of him was looking for him. "I'm here to ask you for help." "Help? What help?" Wang Yao was surprised. He had never met the woman before. It was the first time they met. He was very surprised that she would ask for help. It seemed she had come specially for him. "It's like this. My younger brother was hospitalized because of an illness. He was poisoned by an unknown toxin. Not long ago, there was a patient whose illness was very similar to his. I heard that he recovered because he took the medicine you gave him. Can I trouble you to help me ask for another medicine?" Guo Sairu asked. "Poison? Ask for a decoction?" Before the woman finished her words, Wang Yao knew the purpose of her visit. It was easy to detoxify the poison. All he needed was a piece of antidote herb and a bowl of ancient spring water. However, he had to consider what kind of trouble it would cause. After all, antidote herb was a magic herb. He couldn't find such a magical herb on the internet, which meant that it didn't exist in the known system of Chinese herbal medicine. There might be some people in the hospital who knew about it. If they asked further, how could he explain it? After all, an old Chinese medicine practitioner who didn't exist at all was just an ordinary person, but those smart people could see that it was just a cover. In Wang Yao's opinion, the beautiful woman in front of him was a very smart woman. "Sorry." Wang Yao shook his head after a moment of silence. "What?" Guo Sairu frowned slightly. "You can name the price of this decoction." "It's not about the price." "Then what is it?" "My master is afraid of trouble. Since he had used it once, he might as well use the non-existent old Chinese medicine practitioner again." "Trouble?" "That's right. A disease that even the doctors in the hospital couldn't do anything about was easily solved by a decoction. If Miss Guo were one of those doctors, what would you think? Would you try to get the decoction?" Wang Yao asked directly. Guo Sairu was silent after hearing this. She hadn't considered this problem in the end. With her status, she naturally wouldn't be calculating and scheming. However, it was hard to say for some people. After all, there might be a lot of hidden wealth that was enough to tempt some people. "My master is old and can't afford any more trouble. I just want to plant some herbs in peace. I can guarantee that no one will disturb your normal life because of this, Guasiru said after a moment of silence. It's not that I doubt it. How can Miss Gua guarantee it? Wang Yao was not a naive child. He wouldn't believe a word from Guasiru. Guasiru laughed. She was so angry that she laughed. She didn't expect to meet such a stubborn peer. If it were any other time, no one would dare to argue with her like this. As long as she said a word or gave a look, who knew how many people would do it neatly? How can I guarantee it? I don't know. Wang Yao grinned, revealing 2 rows of white teeth. Well, I'll write a guarantee. Just like that, Guasiru wrote a strange guarantee that she had never written in her life and handed it to Wang Yao. He took it and looked at it. He nodded and carefully put it away. I'll send the decoction before this evening. In the evening? Can't you send it earlier? Guasiru asked. No, it takes time to prepare and boil the decoction. Okay, where should I pick you up? No, I know the way to the county hospital. Sure. Then I won't disturb you. After leaving her contact information, Guasiru was ready to leave. The mountain road is rugged. Take care. Please wait a moment, young man. I have a question to ask you, the middle-aged man who had been silent suddenly said. Please go ahead. What kind of herb is that? He pointed at the moonlight herb not far away. Sorry, my master doesn't allow me to say, Wang Yao said after a moment of silence. Thank you. After hearing such an answer, he didn't continue to ask. After that, Guasiru and the middle-aged man turned and walked down the mountain. There's something wrong with what this young man said, the middle-aged man said on the way down the mountain. Yes, he's very careful, Guasiru said. There are 2 kinds of herbs in his herbal field that I've never seen before. What? Uncle He, you've never seen them before? Guasiru, who knew the middle-aged man's master, was surprised. Yes, there are thousands of herbs in the world. It's not strange that there are some that I haven't seen before. However, the growth of the herbs in the herbal field surprised me. It's already late autumn, but the herbs are still green and lush with the smell of summer. I'm very curious about this. Who is the master that the young man mentioned? He can actually teach such a disciple. Let's not talk about other things, just the cultivation of herbs is already much better than some herb growers. Chapter 25. I don't care about that. As long as he can provide the medicine to save Jinghe, that's enough, Guasiru said. She was most concerned about how to cure her brother's illness. Should we send someone to follow him? The middle-aged man asked after thinking for a while. No need. I've already promised that I won't disturb their daily life because of this matter. Only the 2 of us know about this matter. A gentleman's words were irrevocable. Sometimes, a woman's words were also true. Yes. In the cottage on Nanshan Hill, Wang Yao began to make the antidote. The antidote herbs were in the package of the system. He also kept some ancient spring water, a washed earthenware pot, and a few pieces of firewood. The ancient spring water was slightly heated. The antidote herbs were put into it and dissolved quickly. The ancient spring water immediately turned green like melted jade. It was very beautiful and emitted a unique medicinal fragrance. The antidote only took about 10 minutes to make. After finishing, Wang Yao put it into a glass bottle and put it into the package system. He looked up at the sky outside. It was already noon. After locking the door and telling San Xian what to do, Wang Yao went down the hill and went home. After lunch, he rode the motorcycle out of the house. He first went to the town to do something. It took him more than an hour. Then, he went to the county town. In the county hospital, Guasiru was waiting anxiously. Although Wang Yao had already agreed, she still couldn't rest assured until her brother woke up. Just as she looked at the branded watch on her wrist from time to time, her phone suddenly rang. It was a strange number. Hello. It's me, Wang Yao. I'm in the lobby of the county hospital. Wait a minute. I'll be right down. Guasiru hurriedly greeted the middle-aged man beside her. She went downstairs and went to the lobby. She saw Wang Yao, who was a little travel-worn. He was holding a cloth bag in his hand. Although there were many people in the lobby, and Wang Yao was dressed very differently, it was easy to distinguish him in the crowd. "Is the medicine ready?" Guasiru asked anxiously. "Yes." "Where is the patient?" "Please follow me." Guasiru led the way in front, and the three of them quickly arrived at the VIP ward. In the ward, there were two doctors examining the body of a patient who was in a coma. When they saw Guasi, they hurriedly stopped what they were doing. "Miss Guo." Her tone was very respectful. "Sorry to trouble you, but how is my brother?" Guasiru asked. "It's stable and not getting worse." They had tried their best to maintain the patient's current condition and prevent the situation from worsening. "Can I trouble you to leave for a moment?" "All right." Although they didn't know what Guasiru wanted to do, they immediately signaled the nurse to pack up the examination equipment and left the ward in less than 5 minutes. There were only 4 people in the ward, 3 standing and 1 lying down. Wang Yao also saw the young man lying on the bed. He looked about the same age as himself, but his face was strangely blue and black, which was exactly the same as Wang Zixiao's condition that day. "Feed him." Wang Yao took out the glass bottle from the cloth bag, which contained the emerald green antidote. The middle-aged man next to him took it and opened the bottle cap. He immediately smelled a strange medicinal fragrance. He dipped a little into the antidote and put it into his mouth. He immediately felt a different warm feeling. After confirming that there were no side effects, he gave it to the patient lying on the bed. Because the patient was in a coma, he had to be fed in a special way. Seeing that there was still some antidote left in the bottle, Wang Yao immediately said, "Take it all." After taking all the antidote, Guasiru and the middle-aged man looked at the patient on the bed nervously. Beep, beep, beep. The instrument monitoring the patient's vital signs made a sound. The middle-aged man hurriedly checked it. "How is it?" Guasiru asked nervously. "His heart rate and blood pressure are slowly decreasing. This is a sign that he is recovering," the middle-aged man said in surprise. In less than 20 minutes, the lips of the man lying on the bed moved. "Water!" "Jinghe, Jinghe?" Guasiru called out softly. The young man who had been in a coma for several days slowly opened his eyes in his sister's call. "Sister. Ah, you are finally awake!" Guasiru cried tears of joy. Wang Yao gently put away the glass bottle on the table, then turned around and left the ward. When he went out, he saw a few doctors and nurses rushing over in a hurry. "Amazing, this is amazing! I have never seen such an amazing medicine." Looking at the test results in his hand, the middle-aged man kept shaking his head and sighing. "Is it necessary, Uncle He?" Guasiru smiled. Now that her brother had woken up, she felt relieved. "Miss, you don't have much experience in this field, so you won't be surprised. The effect of this medicine is definitely amazing. It cleared all the toxins in Jinghe's body in such a short period of time. This is one of the amazing things. Then, it improved his physical fitness, which was weakened by the toxins, a lot. This is the second amazing thing. Don't underestimate these 2 points. In my opinion, the medicine that can achieve these 2 points can be called a miracle medicine. I really want to meet the expert who made this medicine." The middle-aged man sighed. "Unfortunately, your promise is really... It's good that Jinghe can wake up. Come with me tomorrow to thank him." Okay. The next morning, after Wang Yao finished his work in the field on the hill, he went into the room and started to weigh the herbs according to the requirements of the Anshensen. Half of the time required to concoct the Anshensen mission had passed, and the moonlight grass was growing well, with young leaves growing out. Although there was still some time before it fully matured, it should be ready to be used after a period of time. In other words, it was now ready to concoct the potion. Ginseng, angelica, poria cocos, Licorice Wang Yao followed the prescription and sorted out the herbs that he needed. Some of the herbs are not enough. It seems that I need to go to the city to buy some herbs. Woof, woof, woof. While he was busy in the room, San Xian suddenly barked outside. Someone is here? Wang Yao stood up and walked out of the room. He saw two familiar figures. They were Guo Sairu and the middle-aged man who came to ask for the medicine yesterday. They were also carrying some gifts in their hands. Why are you here again? What are you doing here? Hello, I'm here to bother you again. After seeing Wang Yao, Guo Sairu smiled and said. She was very grateful to this young man who looked like a hermit, because he brought the medicine to her and saved her brother who had been in a coma for several days. Although she had been angry before, it was worth it. Chapter 26. I'm here to thank you for your medicine. My brother has woken up and is recovering well, Guo Sairu said. It's good that he's awake, Wang Yao said with a smile. By the way, what do you do? Chinese medicine? Guo Sairu asked. No, I'm mission. Name of the pharmacist, the name of the pharmacist, from today onwards, no matter when, no matter where, this is the only job. What does this mean? Wang Yao was stunned for a moment. After a while, he understood. I'm a pharmacist, he said calmly. Ding. Mission. Name of the pharmacist, completed. Reward. Multifunctional pot for herbs. After he said this, the system prompt sounded again. Pharmacist, in the mixing, preparation, and testing of medicine? Guo Sairu asked. Yes. Just as Wang Yao was hesitating, another voice sounded. Pharmacist. Good at growing all kinds of herbs, making all kinds of medicine, and treating all kinds of diseases. This was the system prompt. Wang Yao was stunned again. So awesome! It seems that I haven't met any of them yet. You mean ancient pharmacist? The middle-aged man beside him asked. Ancient pharmacist? What's that? Guo Sairu asked curiously. It's the ancient name of a pharmacist and a doctor. There are great pharmacists who can cure all kinds of diseases, the middle-aged man said. So powerful? Guo Sairu was shocked. Then, she looked at Wang Yao in a different way. Of course, the ancient doctors could grow herbs and make prescriptions. They were good at curing all kinds of diseases. I think this young man is very good at growing herbs, the middle-aged man praised. You flatter me, Wang Yao said with a smile. There's 500,000 in this card. The password is the last 6 digits of your phone number. Guo Sairu took out a bank card from her handbag and handed it to Wang Yao. What do you mean? Wang Yao's eyebrows furrowed slightly. This is to thank you for your help. 500,000 for a dose of medicine. This price was high, very high. However, Wang Yao didn't take it. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't tempted. He held back. I don't want this money. I still stand by my words. I don't want to bring trouble to my master. I hope Miss Guo can remember and do this. That will be enough. What he needed was this woman's promise, so that she wouldn't bring endless trouble to him and his family. How can that be? Guo Sairu said. She was a person who could clearly distinguish between kindness and hatred. In her opinion, saving her brother was a huge favor. Naturally, she would repay it generously. Of course, she would fulfill her promise. How about this, Miss Guo? You owe us a favor. If we need anything in the future, we hope that you can help us. Okay. Guo Sairu agreed without hesitation. After that, Wang Yao invited the two of them to sit in the small house for a while and greeted them with 2 simple cups of water. This water? After taking a sip, Guo Sairu immediately felt that it was different. It was sweet and refreshing. After taking a sip, the middle-aged man's eyes lit up. He didn't say anything. Instead, he took another sip. He didn't rush to swallow it. Instead, he savored it slowly as if he was tasting fine wine or fragrant tea. Spring water. Yes, Wang Yao said with a smile. He had taken the spring water from the mountain in his spare time. After filtering and boiling it, he added some ancient spring water to it. After all, the amount of ancient spring water was limited every day. However, a small cup could improve the quality of the water in the pot. I've never drunk such pure water. Young man, I'm a little envious of you, the middle-aged man said. Ha ha. Wang Yao laughed. He also felt that his current life was very good. He was willing to be busy on the mountain. It was very fulfilling. After sitting in the small house for more than 10 minutes, Guosairu and the middle-aged man stood up and said goodbye. Before they left, they invited him to visit Qi province when he was free. Goodbye. Goodbye. Wang Yao waved his hand to send them off. Miss, this young man is not simple. After a short conversation, he could feel that the young man named Wang Yao was different from the others. He had an extraordinary way of talking, was knowledgeable, and was capable. In his opinion, if Wang Yao was placed in a big sect, he would definitely be an extraordinary person. Yes, he is much better than those guys in Qi province. If someone familiar with Guosairu was present, they would definitely be surprised. This was because her evaluation was already very high. The two of them drove away from Wangjiao village. Wang Yao hurried back to the small house and opened the system panel to check the system reward for completing the suddenly issued task. There was a pot in the system. With a thought, the pot turned into a stream of light and appeared in his hand. It was quite different from the pots used in modern times. It looked antique and was made of neither gold nor jade. Instead, it looked like some kind of special stone. Multifunctional pot for herbs. It can cook all kinds of herbs without losing the medicinal effect. Without losing the medicinal effect? Seeing this, Wang Yao was surprised. After looking up so much information, he also knew that in the process of decocting herbs, some of the medicinal effect of the herbs would be damaged because of the decoction. It was very difficult to retain all the medicinal effect. Previously, with the magical performance of the ancient spring pot, Wang Yao was full of expectations for this small pot. At noon, when he went home, he found Wang Zixiao waiting for him at home. Wang Zixiao looked a little strange. "Brother Yao, you are back." "Zixiao, what's the matter?" Wang Yao asked with a smile. "I came to apologize to you." Wang Zixiao was a little ashamed. "Apologize? For what?" Wang Yao was stunned. "My mother told those people that the medicine that saved my life last time was given by you." Wang Zixiao lowered his head. He didn't know about it until this morning. It turned out that his mother had told the relative who was in a coma in the hospital about the secret because the relative had offered them a price that they couldn't refuse. 500,000 yuan was enough to change their lives. After hearing the news, he quarreled with his mother first and then hurried to Wang Yao's place. He wanted to apologize to Wang Yao and inform him by the way so that he wouldn't cause unnecessary trouble for Wang Yao. "It's okay." Hearing this, Wang Yao understood how the middle-aged man, Guosairu, knew that it was the medicine he sent to save Wang Zixiao. "Can you give me your bank card number?" "What for?" "I'll transfer the money to you." "You don't need to. Keep the money." Wang Yao waved his hand with a smile. However, he was a little curious about Guosairu's identity. She could give him 500,000 yuan just to inquire about a piece of information. In addition, she also gave him 500,000 yuan to thank him. These two things added up to 1 million yuan. She was definitely a rich person. Chapter 27. First, Guosairu wanted to give him 500,000 yuan as thanks for the detoxification powder. Now Wang Zixiao took the initiative to give him 500,000 yuan. "It seems that today is my lucky day," Wang Yao thought to himself. "How can that be?" Wang Zixiao was anxious. "If I say it's okay, it's okay." 500,000 yuan was not a small amount for Wang Yao now. If it was in the past, he might be tempted. But now he had a magical system with unlimited possibilities in the future. Looking at the money again, it did not seem to be attractive. Moreover, they were from the same village, childhood friends and relatives. He did not want to affect the relationship between the two families because of money. Wang Zixiao didn't agree no matter what Wang Yao said. In the end, Wang Yao had no choice but to change his attitude. Seeing that Wang Yao was unhappy, Wang Zixiao reluctantly agreed, but he still left a sentence that the money was borrowed from him. No matter when, as long as Wang Yao asked, he would immediately return it. After lunch, Wang Yao went to town again. He planned to buy some Chinese medicine to prepare for the anshensen he was going to concoct. "Young man, you want to buy medicine again?" After several times, the staff of the pharmaceutical company became familiar with him. "Yes, I want to buy some. This is the list." Wang Yao handed the list over. There were not many herbs this time, so the staff quickly prepared them. "Are you preparing to decoct medicine this time?" "Yes." "Young man, what do you do? Chinese medicine?" This was the first time that the staff asked Wang Yao this question. "I'm a pharmacist." These 4 words, Wang Yao said very naturally. "Pharmacist, the kind of medicine preparation and analysis. I heard that it is not easy to get the certificate." The staff smiled and asked, "Not that kind?" Wang Yao smiled slightly. "Then what is it?" The staff was stunned. He had only heard of such a kind of pharmacist. Planting medicine, preparing medicine, curing diseases. What? The staff was stunned. So good. Wang Yao wanted to jump up and say, "I'm not that good." But when the words were about to come out of his mouth, he stopped because he heard the prompt of the system. As a pharmacist, you must not belittle yourself. He naturally understood the meaning of these words. It seems that modesty won't work. I can only pretend. Wang Yao thought. Yes, he replied, which could be considered as an admission. You know how to treat illnesses? The man was stunned again. He. Wang Yao could only brace himself and continue to pretend. Do you have a medical certificate? Well, no. After listening, the man carefully looked at the young man in front of him who he had seen several times. Seeing that he was a little embarrassed, he didn't ask any more questions. Fortunately, I didn't ask any more questions. This act is really not something that ordinary people can do. I must feel shameless. Wang Yao felt that he was still too thin-skinned. He took the medicinal herbs and left in a hurry. He didn't stay in Lianshan County for long. After returning home, he went straight to Nanshan Hill. He plunged into his own cottage and sorted out the medicinal herbs he had bought. He still had one more task to complete. The herbs needed to decoct the anshensen were basically all there was left. All that was left was the moonlight grass that was still growing in the medicinal field outside. He was going to process these herbs first, and then wait for the moonlight grass outside to grow to the point where it could be used to decoct the potion. However, the growth characteristics of the moonlight grass were a little strange. It grew when it saw the moon, which meant that the essence of the moonlight at night was the best nourishment to promote its growth. In addition, the effect of the mysterious ancient spring water was a little inferior to the moonlight grasses. Why don't I try it with 2 young leaves first? Wang Yao stood in front of the cottage and looked at the 10 moonlight grass in the herbal field. The leaves were as green as jade, about 10 centimeters long and 2 or 3 centimeters wide. Forget it. I'll wait for 2 more days and try this multifunctional pot for herbs first. Wang Yao first prepared some medicinal herbs, which were left after decocting the 5 batches of medicinal herbs a few days ago. It was just right for him to experiment. After almost 5 days and 5 nights of fierce fighting last time, he basically mastered the decoction methods and precautions that originated from the 1,000 gold prescription. Naturally, it was much smoother this time. First, he classified and weighed the medicinal herbs, then he processed the medicinal herbs, washed and soaked them properly with water, and finally decoction. The multifunctional pot for herbs, which was about the size of a kettle used to boil water, was placed on a simple stove made of bricks and stones. There was clear ancient spring water in the pot, and below it was firewood picked up from the mountain. The fire gathered together and several batches of medicinal herbs were put into the pot according to the proportion of the medicinal herbs. Wang Yao carefully controlled the fire and observed and controlled the decoction process. What? After a short while, he found a problem. That was, no matter how the fire below changed, big or small, the decoction in the pot for herbs was always boiling in an almost constant state. Seeing this, he did another experiment. First, he added firewood to make the fire stronger. Then, he reduced the firewood to make the fire weaker. As a result, the decoction in the pot was boiling and evaporating at a steady speed, not affected at all. The gift given by the system is really amazing. In addition to being able to stabilize the boiling state of the decoction, Wang Yao found that the decoction took less time than the previous decoctions. After the pot was opened, the decoction and dregs were separated very well. After pouring out the decoction and removing the dregs, Wang Yao found that the inner wall of the multifunctional pot for herbs was not left after decoction. It was not bright because the material itself was dry, but it was as good as new, like a non-stick pot. Good, Wang Yao said happily. In this way, after decocting the decoction, he only needed to rinse it with water. After decocting the decoction, Wang Yao found that this seemingly inconspicuous multifunctional pot for herbs was extraordinary. Then, with a thought, the multifunctional pot for herbs disappeared and returned to the package square of the system. After tidying up, Wang Yao went out of the cottage and went to the herbal field to check the herbs. No matter what kind of herbs they were, they all grew very well, especially the common herbs such as gentian and wolfberry. Under the watering of the ancient spring water, they grew almost as fast as half a year's growth in a normal day in dozens of days. These herbs will definitely be sold at a good price when they mature. With the experience of selling sealwort last time, Wang Yao knew that these herbs would definitely be sold at a high price when they matured. Without any waste, they grew naturally and were watered by the magical spring water containing the essence of the mountains and rivers. It would be strange if such herbs were of poor quality. After finishing his work in the herbal field, Wang Yao went down the hill and returned home. He found his mother sitting on the sofa in the living room in a daze. It seemed that she was thinking about something. She didn't come to her senses until Wang Yao went into the room. "You are back. Mom, what were you thinking about just now?" Chapter 28. I miss your auntie, Zhang Xiuying said. What's wrong with my auntie? Wang Yao asked. His mother, Zhang Xiuying, had 4 siblings. Zhang Xiuying was the eldest. His auntie, Zhang Xiumei, treated him the best. When he was young, she always bought him all kinds of delicious food and took him out to play. Even now, she still called him from time to ask about his work and girlfriend. She had just called him a few days ago. Her old illness is acting up again. She can't sleep, Zhang Xiuying said. Wang Yao also knew that his auntie had an illness. Once her illness acted up, she would be restless and weak. She couldn't eat or sleep. She had seen many doctors and taken a lot of medicine, but it didn't work. 2 old Chinese medicine doctors said that this illness was contracted during the confinement period and was not easy to treat. Didn't you see a doctor? It doesn't work. She is lying at home now. I just called her, and she didn't have much strength to talk, Zhang Xiuying said worriedly. After all, they were biological sisters and their hearts were connected. Maybe the Anshensen will work. Suddenly, Wang Yao thought of the task he hadn't completed yet, the prescription given by the system. Anshensen dispels depression, regulates qi, nourishes the heart and calms the nerve. With the magical effect of the antidote grass, Wang Yao was basically sure that the effect of Anshensen would not be bad. I won't wait for the moonlight grass to mature. I'll decoct the medicine tomorrow. Wang Yao made up his mind instantly. Compared to the health of his family members, 1 or 2 moonlight grass was nothing. Mom, don't think too much. Dinner hasn't been cooked yet. I'm hungry. Wang Yao tried to divert his mother's attention. Okay, I'll cook for you now. It didn't take long for dinner to be ready. Wang Yao's father also came home. The family of 3 sat together and had dinner. It was very warm. After dinner, Wang Yao went to his room to read some books related to medicine as usual. At this time, the sky outside was very clear. There were only a few clouds. The bright moon hung high in the sky. The moonlight was cold. The moonlight is not bad. I hope that the moonlight grass can grow a little more. After reading for a while, Wang Yao went to bed to rest. The next morning, the weather was slightly chilly. Wang Yao got up early as usual. He cooked a pot of noodles and heated up some dry food. After eating, he went to Nanshan Hill. Every time he saw the herbs in the medicinal field, Wang Yao's mood would be very good. First, he walked around the herbal field carefully. Then, he took out the ancient spring pot and poured out the ancient spring water. After diluting it, he watered the herbal field, the dozens of trees nearby, and the ginseng planted under the trees. After doing all this, Wang Yao came to the side of the 10 moonlight grass. Looking at the green leaves, he carefully plucked 2 leaves from 2 different plants. Like antidote grass, emerald green liquid flowed out of the cut and then quickly dried. I hope it can grow again. After Wang Yao returned to the hut, he took out the prepared herbs for Anshensen, checked them carefully, and then began to boil the medicine. Ginseng, angelica, poria cocos, licorice, not only the weight of the herbs, but also the order of putting the herbs in was completely according to the prescription. The firewood was burning brightly. The multifunctional pot for herbs gurgled and steamed. A unique fragrance of herbs soon filled the small hut. After boiling for a while, the efficacy of the herbs had been completely decomposed. Wang Yao put the freshly plucked moonlight grass into the pot. After the licorice grass touched the water, it quickly dissolved at a speed visible to the naked eye. Then, the color of the decoction changed from light brown to light orange. After seeing the color change, Wang Yao quickly took the multifunctional pot for herbs away from the flame. He looked at the decoction that he was concentrating on boiling this time. It's done. However, there was no prompt from the system. Let's put it in first. Wang Yao put the decoction into a glass bottle after it cooled down a little. I don't know if it's successful or not. I can't just give it to my aunt casually. What if there are side effects? Maybe I should try drinking some first. Thinking of this, he poured a small lid out and drank it with water. A stream of warmth entered his stomach and was absorbed by his stomach. At first, Wang Yao didn't feel any change. After about 20 minutes, he felt that the surroundings seemed to be quieter. He also felt that he was very calm. His body was slightly warm, but there was a light coolness in his head. It was a very comfortable feeling. It worked. He immediately realized that the decoction should be successfully made. Let San Xian drink some more. Thinking of this, he went out of the hut and poured a small lid into a small basin of San Xian's river outside the kennel next to the hut. Then he called San Xian. San Xian, drink some water. Wang Yao pointed at the small basin. San Xian looked down at the basin and then looked up at Wang Yao. His eyes seemed to be asking, "Trash picker, what do you mean by this? Did you add something to my water?" "Drink it quickly," Wang Yao repeated. San Xian lowered his head and drank some water. Then he stood up and shook his head. Do you feel that something is wrong?" Wang Yao didn't care whether the dog understood or not. He then observed its reaction. As usual, San Xian walked around for a while and then returned to his kennel. He lay on the ground and looked into the distance quietly. It seemed that he was thinking about some profound philosophical questions, such as, when can I have a companion? There are no side effects. He followed San Xian for more than an hour. Based on San Xian's reaction and his own experience, he was sure that the decoction had no side effects. After 2 tests, Wang Yao was sure that there were no problems with the Anshensen. He put the bottle with the decoction into the compartment of his backpack, locked the door, and prepared to go into the city. San Xian watched the door. Before he left, he told San Xian, but he didn't hear any response. He turned his head and looked carefully. He found that the dog was still staring into the distance. "What's wrong?" Wang Yao waved his hand in front of San Xian's eyes. "Woof, woof, woof." San Xian barked unhappily. "Watch the herbal field for me, especially the licorice root. Don't just stand there. Hey, what's with the look in your eyes?" Wang Yao found that the dog he raised was becoming more and more intelligent. Even the dog's eyes had a hint of humanity. "Let's go." Wang Yao went down the hill and rode his motorcycle into the city. His aunt lived in Lianshan County. It took about 20 minutes to get there by motorcycle. After entering the city, Wang Yao first went to the supermarket to buy some tonics and other things. Then he went to his aunt's house. He knocked on the door. It was a middle-aged woman who opened the door. She was not tall and her face was sallow. There were 2 deep bags under her eyes. She looked listless. Chapter 29. Yao, why are you here? It was Wang Yao's aunt, Zhang Xiumei, who opened the door. She was a little surprised to see him. "Aunt, I heard from my mother that you were sick, so I came to see you. Are you feeling better? So be it. Why did you buy so many things? Come in." Zhang Xiumei smiled and invited Wang Yao into the house. Then, she brought him delicious food and poured him water. She treated him like a child. "Aunt, don't be busy. Sit down quickly." I'm not busy. Try this walnut. Your uncle brought it back from SX when he left." Zhang Xiumei was about to peel the walnut for Wang Yao. "Hurry up and rest. Are you still unable to sleep?" Wang Yao looked at his aunt's haggard face and asked with concern. An aunt, half a mother. This was the old saying here. It was not an exaggeration to use it on his aunt in front of him. Zhang Xiumei had treated him absolutely well since he was a child. "Well, it's an old problem. I feel very tired, but I can't sleep well. As soon as I lie down and close my eyes, I hear all kinds of sound. I'm upset." Zhang Xiumei sighed. This was the root cause of her illness during the confinement period. She fell ill every year. Over the years, she did not know how many doctors she had seen. She had done regular checkups, taken folk prescriptions, Western medicine, and Chinese medicine, but it did not work. This illness was not cured. Instead, it was because she took too much medicine that stimulated her stomach. "By the way, I brought you a dose of Chinese medicine." Wang Yao moved his hand, and then there was a glass bottle in his hand. It was filled with an orange medicinal soup. Chinese medicine? Looking at the glass bottle in Wang Yao's hand, Zhang Xiumei was slightly surprised. "Yes, try it. See if it works." Wang Yao gently opened the lid. Suddenly, a strange medicinal fragrance floated out. It was not like ordinary Chinese medicine, which was a little pungent. "Where did you get this Chinese medicine?" Zhang Xiumei was a little curious. "I made it myself." "What?" Wang Yao's aunt was stunned. "Haha, I'm just kidding. Try it. I've tested it. There's absolutely no poison. Don't drink too much. Drink a few mouthfuls first." Wang Yao didn't know how effective this Chinese medicine was, so he didn't dare to let his aunt drink too much in case there were any problems. "Let's give it a try then." Zhang Xiuying smiled and took the medicine. He realized that the bottle was still warm. "It's still warm? My bike is faster. Be careful next time. Don't be so clumsy." After Zhang Xiumei finished speaking, she took a sip of the medicine. The medicine was warm and slightly bitter, but it had a special fragrance. She felt very comfortable when it entered her stomach. Then, she took 2 more sips and drank about 1/5 of the 500 milliliters medicine. How do you feel? Wang Yao hurriedly asked. On the one hand, he was worried about his aunt's health. On the other hand, he was concerned about the efficacy of his carefully formulated medicine. It's very comfortable, Zhang Xiumei said. Zhang Xiumei said. She was telling the truth. Although she only drank a few mouthfuls of the medicine, she felt a warmth in her abdomen. Moreover, this warmth was gradually spreading from her abdomen to every part of her body. In less than 10 minutes, she felt a lot more comfortable. She was no longer as weak as before. This medicine is really useful, Zhang Xiumei exclaimed. She didn't have much hope in the beginning. After all, she had seen too many doctors for this disease over the years. Every time she went with hope, the result was disappointment. She just didn't want to disappoint her nephew, who specially sent the medicine to her. She didn't expect that this medicine would wake her up. In such a short time, it had an effect that she didn't even dare to imagine. After about 10 minutes, she felt an even more pleasant change. She felt that her head was cool. Yes, it was a cool that was completely different from the warmth of her body. Her whole mind seemed to be a lot quieter all of a sudden. Too much. It was not as restless as before. Her body was much more comfortable. Aunt, do you feel better? Wang Yao saw the smile and comfortable expression on his aunt's face. He knew that the medicine was working. Much better. This medicine is really useful. Yao, tell me the truth. Where did you get this medicine? I brewed it myself, Wang Yao said with a smile. Nonsense. When did you know how to brew Chinese medicine? Zhang Xiumei laughed. Haha, it's good that it's useful. 3 times a day. Within 3 days, finish the medicine. The medicine can't be drunk cold. Use hot water to warm it up. The water temperature can't be too high to avoid damaging the medicine's efficacy. Wang Yao said. Although he didn't study medicine, he had read a lot of medical books these days. He still had some basic knowledge. Well, you're so eloquent, Zhang Xiumei said with a smile. By the way, I heard from your mother that you want to continue to grow herbs. Do you want to sell herbs? No, I can sell part of the herbs and use the rest for myself, Wang Yao said. Use for myself? Why? To brew medicine. You want to learn Chinese medicine? Zhang Xiumei realized that her nephew didn't seem to be joking. No, I'm a pharmacist. Pharmacist? Growing herbs, making medicine, and treating diseases, Wang Yao explained. Doctor? Zhang Xiumei suddenly thought of those unlicensed doctors. She didn't know why her nephew suddenly had such a bizarre idea. She couldn't help but worry. Looking at his aunt's expression, Wang Yao suddenly realized that he might have said too much. Aunt, you should get better first. Don't think too much. I'll go back first. As he spoke, Wang Yao got up to leave. Where are you going? Zhang Xiumei asked. Let's go home. Since the purpose of this trip had been achieved, Wang Yao was ready to leave. No, I'll have lunch here. Next time. You should rest first. Don't be so long-winded. Even if you don't come, I'll cook for your uncle and brother. Just like this, Wang Yao had a simple meal at his aunt's house. When his uncle and cousin came back at noon, Zhang Xiumei told them about the medicine. She also praised the effect of the medicine. Wang Yao's uncle smiled and said it was good, but he didn't seem to believe it. These years, he had taken his wife to many places and had seen some experts, but there was no obvious effect. It was doubtful that a medicine could have such a magical effect. Wang Yao didn't answer. After lunch, he stayed for a while and left. Before he left, he reminded his uncle again. After leaving his aunt's house, Wang Yao didn't rush back. Instead, he walked around the town. The weather was getting colder. He planned to buy some clothes and some dog food for San Xian. Because it wasn't a weekend, there weren't many people in the supermarket. Wang Yao had plenty of time, so he walked around slowly. Wang Yao? Suddenly, he heard someone calling his name. He followed the voice and saw a beautiful woman standing not far away. She had long black hair, was as beautiful as a flower, and had a graceful figure. Tong Wei, what a coincidence! This woman was his old classmate, Tong Wei, whom he had met a few days ago in town. She was extremely beautiful. Chapter 30. Yeah, what a coincidence, Tong Wei replied with a smile. Aren't you working in Dao? Why are you back? It's my mom's birthday today, so I took a leave and came back, Tong Wei replied. The distance from Dao to Lianshan County was not very far. It would take about 2 hours by car. How is your mom? She's fine. Although Wang Yao heard Tong Wei's words, he could still see the worry in her eyes. By the way, what are you doing in Dao? Economic management. A senior executive? Wang Yao asked with a smile. This female classmate was not only beautiful, but also very knowledgeable. She went directly to a famous university abroad for her master's degree. Among all his classmates, she was the first one to go abroad for her master's degree. What senior executive? Hearing this, Tong Wei smiled. Just as she was about to say something, her phone suddenly rang. She picked it up and looked at it. She raised her eyebrows slightly. Hello, Yang Ming. Tong Wei, you're back. I heard it's your mom's birthday today? Because the distance was close, Wang Yao could hear a familiar voice coming from the phone. It was his classmate Yang Ming on the other end of the phone. It seemed that he was chasing after Tong Wei. Yes, what? No, thank you. The phone call lasted about 3 minutes. After hanging up, Tong Wei shook her head helplessly. The two old classmates chatted for a while and then went their separate ways. This Wang Yao is different from before. Looking at Wang Yao's back, Tong Wei thought with a smile. He went to the supermarket to buy some groceries and then rode his motorcycle back home. Mom, I'm back. Did you go to your aunt's house? Zhang Xiaoying immediately put down her work when she heard that her son was back. Yes. Did you send medicine to your aunt? Yes. Hey, how did you know? Wang Yao suddenly realized that his mother was looking at him strangely. Your aunt just called me and said that your medicine is very effective. She's feeling much better now. She also told me that you're going to be a doctor. Not a doctor, but a pharmacist. When Wang Yao heard this, he knew that trouble was coming. Based on his mother's character of wanting to get to the bottom of things, this was not going to be easy. Pharmacist, what do you do? Planting herbs, refining medicine, curing illnesses and saving lives. Isn't that a wild doctor? Zhang Xiaoying asked. This time, he added the word wild in front of it. It's not the same. Wang Yao didn't know how to explain it to his mother. You and that old TCM doctor? Yes. Study hard. Ah! Wang Yao responded, and then he was stunned. He didn't expect that his mother would say such a thing. I want you to learn from me. Of course, of course. Wang Yao didn't expect that it would be so easy to fool his mother. He didn't use the set of explanations he had prepared before, but it was better this way. After putting away the things he bought, he went back to Nanshan Hill. He was facing another problem, which was the task issued by the system. He had to successfully synthesize Anshensen within a month. He had already decocted 1 dose, and it seemed to be effective. However, he didn't receive any prompt from the system, which made him very confused. What exactly went wrong? After arriving at Nanshan Hill, he sat outside the house on the folding stool and recalled the process of making Anshensen in the morning. He carefully thought about it several times, but still couldn't figure out what went wrong. This time, he needed to consume the precious licorice root, moonlight herb, and it was for his family. Therefore, when he decocted it, he was very careful. He followed the prescription's dosage and paid attention to the process. However, in the end, he didn't receive any prompt from the system. It seems that I have to try again tomorrow. Although there wasn't much to do in the afternoon, Wang Yao was not in a hurry to go home. Instead, he slowly wandered on the gentle slope. Such a large area needed to be planned well. It was a pity to leave it idle. Should he plant herbs or trees? It's better to cultivate 1 acre of land first and then plant some herbs. As soon as he said that, he took out the hinges and a lift from the cottage and started to work. Yao, are you busy? A middle-aged man from the same village walked past him with a group of sheep. Ah, second uncle, are you going back? Hey, this hill is still contracted? Yes, I'm going to contract it for a few years and see how it goes, Wang Yao responded with a smile. Okay. The middle-aged man slowly drove the sheep away with a cigarette in his mouth. This young man, what a pity! In the past 3 years, the villagers had been gossiping about this college student who was busy on the hill. Especially after he jumped into the river a few days ago, the gossip reached a peak. They originally thought that he would stop, but this time, something that surprised them happened again. There was news from the village committee that this young man not only didn't give up contracting the hill, but also increased the contract by 20 years. He also promised to give the village 20,000 yuan a year from now on. For a time, there were rumors everywhere, and it still hadn't subsided. As for this matter, Wang Yao's parents didn't object. They tacitly agreed to it, which was why he could work without worries until now. Just as Wang Yao was busy, the sky had unknowingly darkened. Night gradually fell. How time flies! Wang Yao stood up and wiped his sweat. He then packed up his tools and gave San Xian some dog food. He said a few words to San Xian and then went down the hill to go home. There were only a few simple dishes, a pot of porridge and hot steamed buns, but Wang Yao ate with relish. After dinner, Wang Yao went back to his room, read a book for a while, and then went to bed. The next morning, just as the sky was getting bright, he got up and started his busy day. In fact, he was no different from the other people in the village. He was facing the yellow soil with his back facing the sky, but there was a magical system in his body. Ding! The task of successfully preparing Anshensen within a month has been completed. Just as he finished watering the herbal field and the dozens of trees on the hill, the prompt of the system sounded. Hey, why is the prompt completed at this time? The system is slow to respond? Wang Yao was surprised when he heard the message. He was going to experiment again today, but he didn't expect to receive an unexpected notification that the task was completed. System, why is the prompt so late? Curative effect. The system replied with 2 simple words. Curative effect? I just drank the medicine yesterday, and it's already effective. To Wang Yao's question, the system didn't continue to answer. Good, it's done. Let's see what the prescription is. Wang Yao opened the system panel. Regather soup. Strengthens the muscles and bones, consolidates the corporeity. Ginseng, wolfberry, sealwort, gorgon fruit, glossy ganoderma, shanjing, guiyuan. Chapter 31. Wang Yao had never heard of the last 2 herbs, shanjing and guiyuan. He took out his phone and found that atractylodes was also called shanjing. Is shanjing atractylodes? Wang Yao asked the system. No, the system said. No, are they not ordinary herbs? Thinking of this, he took out the Catalogue of Spiritual Herbs, Volume 1 from the system's inventory and flipped through it. Sure enough, he found them. Shanjing, the essence of the mountain. It is mellow and can strengthen the body. Guiyuan, absorbs the essence of heaven and earth. It can strengthen the muscles and bones and consolidate the corporeity. He didn't have shanjing and guiyuan licorice roots, which meant that he couldn't make the regather soup at all. System, how can I get shanjing and guiyuan? Exchange. How do I exchange? Reward points. Where can I exchange? The pharmacy. Wang Yao opened the system panel and looked through it page by page. He found that several panels were gray. It was probably because he couldn't open them because of his level. The pharmacy was one of them. My level is not high enough? Ring. Buzz. Just as Wang Yao was staring at the system panel, his phone rang. Mom, what's up? Your aunt is much better. She had a good night's sleep last night. She just called me to compliment you. That's good, Wang Yao said. He also understood why the system had just finished the task. After hanging up the phone, Wang Yao was busy again. He continued to reclaim the mountain field that he had started the day before. After 3 days of hard work, Wang Yao was exhausted. Ring. Just as it was getting dark, Wang Yao's phone rang again. He took it out and saw it was his aunt. Hello, Auntie. Hello, Yao. Are you busy? No, I'm not busy. Have you recovered? All right, it's all healed. Thank you so much. Zhang Xiumei, who was on the other end of the phone, was extremely happy. She had eaten and slept well for 3 consecutive days, and her body was full of energy. The disgusting but helpless disease that had been plaguing her had finally left her. Naturally, she was in a good mood now that Shen Ku was gone. That's what I should do. Wang Yao was very happy to hear that his aunt had recovered. Auntie wants to ask you something. Do you still have that medicine? Well, why do you ask? Wang Yao was stunned. There is a person who wants this medicine as well. She has the same illness as me. Huh! When Wang Yao didn't know how to reply, the system prompt suddenly sounded. Mission, continuous, good medicine has a price. A single dose of medicine can cure diseases and prolong life. It's the most extraordinary and can't be taken lightly. You're a pharmacist, not a bodhisattva. Prescriptions and medicines not provided by the system are not included. What kind of mission was this? Wang Yao was very confused, but he understood the general meaning. It should be saying that the medicine couldn't be given away easily and that he had to pay a price. System, how much is a dose of Anshensen worth? 20 taels of gold. What? Wang Yao was stunned. At first, he thought he had misheard, but after calling out the system panel and seeing the prompt above, he was sure he hadn't misheard. 20 taels of gold? How much is it with the current price? 260,000 yuan. 260,000 yuan for a dose of medicine? What a joke. Only a fool would buy it. Are you sure? Yes. Yao, are you listening to me? Wang Yao heard some nonsense from the other end of the phone. How much more? Wait a moment, Auntie. I still have something to do. I'll call you back later. After saying that, Wang Yao hung up the phone. He needed to calm down. The system's reply just now was still in his ears. It was like thunder, making him stunned. How is it possible? How is it possible? A dose of medicine with such a high price. Who would buy it? System, can I give it to you? 3 days for a dose of medicine. The system gave him a simple prompt. He had the right, but it was very limited. He could only give 1 dose of medicine every 3 days. After sitting on the folding stool and carefully calming down for nearly half an hour, Wang Yao picked up the phone and called his auntie. Auntie, are you familiar with that person? Not very, but I met her when I went to Dao. Her illness is the same as mine. I happened to meet her on the street the day before yesterday. Looking at her, it's much more serious than mine, Zhang Xiumei said. She was not very familiar with that person. At most, she was a patient's friend. However, she had experienced the pain of being tortured by this illness. She just hoped she could help her. How's her family background? Wang Yao continued to ask. It should be good. Her husband is a businessman. He drives a Land Rover. Why do you ask? Zhang Xiumei asked curiously. That dose of medicine is very expensive, Wang Yao said after a moment of silence. Very expensive? How expensive? 260,000 yuan for 1 dose of medicine, Wang Yao said. What? How much? Zhang Xiumei was stunned. She thought she had misheard. Yao, are you joking with me? No, I'm serious. This dose of medicine is very expensive. I spent a lot of effort to ask my master to make an exception to get it. If I want to ask for more, money is only one thing. It depends on whether my master is willing to give it to me. At this time, Wang Yao had to use his non-existent master as an excuse again. So expensive? Zhang Xiaomei was stunned. She thought her nephew had only brought her a folk prescription. She did not expect it to be so expensive. You can talk to her. If it's really that kind of illness, I'll talk to my master. Okay, I'll ask her. After hanging up the phone, Wang Yao sat in front of the cottage and looked at the blue sky and white clouds. San Xian was lying next to him, obediently. The mountain wind was blowing, and it was slightly cool. It was very comfortable and comfortable. Wang Yao liked this kind of life more and more. He enjoyed it more and more. He did not pack up his things until it was getting dark. He locked the door and went home. In the evening, after dinner, he received a call from his aunt. That person wanted to see Wang Yao. Don't take the initiative to contact the person who wants to ask for medicine. When he was about to say yes, the system reminded him again. I'm sorry, aunt. If she wants to ask for medicine, she can come to my place. Well, can't you come? Her husband can drive you to see your master together. My master doesn't see outsiders. If she wants to ask for medicine, she can come to my place. Otherwise, forget it. To be honest, aunt, I don't want to get into trouble, Wang Yao said. Task: get the approval of a patient within 10 days. The reward will be random. Punishment for failure: the multifunctional pot for herbs will be taken away. At this time, the system reminded him again. Damn, can it not be so late? Chapter 32. Wang Yao immediately cursed after hearing that. He had just asked his aunt to reject the task, and now the system had given him a task. It was simply a trap. I'll talk to her, said Wang Yao. Okay, said Wang Yao. The next day, Wang Yao was busy going up the hill as usual. Unexpectedly, he received a call from his aunt, saying that the couple wanted to see him, which surprised him quite a bit. This time, because he had a mission, Wang Yao didn't refuse. Instead, he arranged a time with the couple. Coincidentally, the couple was in Lianshan County at this time and also had time, so they agreed to meet in the afternoon on Nanshan Hill. After finishing his work in the herbal field, Wang Yao flattened a piece of land under a few big trees and prepared to set up a stone table there. In the afternoon, a dark green Land Rover drove into Wang Yao's village. It went along the mountain road and went to the hillside of Nanshan Hill. It was only a few meters away from Wang Yao's herbal field. After the car stopped, 3 people got out of the car, 1 man and 2 women. One of them was Wang Yao's aunt. The other 2 were the couple who came to ask for medicine. The man looked like he was in his 40s. He had a well-proportioned body, a square face, thick eyebrows, and looked like a warrior. The woman looked weak and beautiful. She was graceful like a woman from Jiangnan. However, she didn't look well. She had heavy eye bags and her face was slightly pale. She was out of breath after walking a few steps. Aunt! Wang Yao walked up to her with a smile. You look good. Let me introduce you. This is Director Tian and Ms. Su. Zhang Xiaomei introduced the 2 people to Wang Yao. Wang Yao, my nephew, said Tian Yuantu. Nice to meet you, said Wang Yao. Don't call me Director or Ms. Su. My name is Tian Yuantu. My wife is Su Jiahui, said the man. Please have a seat, said Wang Yao. Wang Yao had set up a small wooden table with a pot of tea beside the herbal field. Have some tea, said Wang Yao as he poured tea for them. Thank you, said Tian Yuantu. He took a sip and felt the sweetness of the tea. He couldn't help but sigh. Good tea. Thank you. Wang Yao smiled. The tea was just ordinary green tea, but the water was mixed with ancient spring water, so it was naturally different. Su Jiahui took a sip and felt her whole body become more comfortable. It is indeed good tea. Little brother, what tea is this? Tian Yuantu asked curiously. As a successful businessman, he had traveled extensively and had tasted many famous teas. However, this was the first time he had tasted such a unique tea. It's just ordinary camellia. It's a pity that there isn't much left. Otherwise, I would have given some to Director Tian. That's really a pity, Tian Yuantu said sincerely. There will be a chance, Wang Yao said with a smile. After hearing Tian Yuantu's words, he felt that it would be a good idea to plant some tea trees on Nanshan Hill. With the ancient spring water, the tea trees would definitely produce good results. They would not be worse than those famous teas, or even better. Then let's talk business first. Let's talk business. Can you take us to see your master? Asked Tian Yuantu. Sorry, my master doesn't see outsiders. Wang Yao refused with a smile. Can my wife's illness be cured? What illness? Although Wang Yao had heard about it from his aunt, he still wanted to confirm it in person. Her mind is restless and she can't sleep well. Even if she is tired, she can't sleep well lying in bed. Recently, she has been having hallucinations. Tian Yuantu held his wife's hand and was very worried. It can be cured, but the medicine is very expensive. Wang Yao listened and said, this illness was very similar to his aunt's illness. The Anshensen should be effective. How expensive? 260,000 yuan for a dose of medicine. What? Although they were already mentally prepared, after hearing the price, the three people except Wang Yao were still shocked. Although Tian Yuantu had traveled extensively and seen a lot, he was still shocked. 260,000 yuan for a dose of medicine was simply unheard of. Wang Yao didn't speak, waiting for the other party's decision. The price was very expensive, so expensive that even he was surprised. However, this was a mandatory rule of the system, and he had no choice. Seeing that Wang Yao didn't speak, Tian Yuantu asked one more question. This medicine, is it useful? Whether it is useful or not, we will know after we try it. To be honest, Wang Yao didn't have full confidence about Su Jiahui's illness. After all, he was not a doctor. He could roughly infer that her illness should be within the treatment range of the Anshensen from the patient's description of the illness. When can I get the medicine? In 3 days. Okay. Tian Yuantu stared at Wang Yao and nodded. After chatting for a while, Tian Yuantu and his wife said goodbye and drove away. Wang Yao's aunt stayed. First, she had something to discuss with Wang Yao. Second, she hadn't seen her sister for a long time. She planned to stay the night and have a good chat with her sister. She planned to go back to Lianshan County the next day. Yuantu, do you believe what that young man said? At this time, Tian Yuantu and his wife were talking in the Land Rover that had already left the village. Su Jiahui didn't believe what Wang Yao said at all. She had been suffering from this illness for 8 years. Every autumn and winter, when the illness was severe, she couldn't sleep for 3 consecutive days. She would be restless and have hallucinations. She could only fall asleep with a special sleeping tranquilizer. However, the side effects on the body were obvious. Over the years, she had been taking more and more medicine, and her health was getting worse and worse. A famous old Chinese medicine doctor once said that she wouldn't live for more than 10 years. This illness would wear her down and exhaust her vitality. Even if there is only a 10% chance, I'm willing to try, Tian Yuantu said with a smile. But that's too expensive. It's not expensive. Let alone 260,000 yuan, even if it's 2 million or 20 million yuan, as long as it can cure your illness, I'm willing to do it, Tian Yuantu said with a smile. His virtuous wife had at least half of the credit for his family business. In his early years, when he was doing business, it wasn't all smooth sailing. He had failed, fallen, and discouraged. At that time, the only person who encouraged and supported him was his wife. They always helped each other in times of need and never left each other. That was why he had achieved what he had today. Moreover, some time ago, he had found a famous master to predict that his wife's illness would take a turn for the better this year. According to the master's hint, it seemed that it was due to this young man. Therefore, he specially paid a visit to this young man. This young man gave him a unique feeling. Some of his temperament seemed to be similar to that master's. Chapter 33. Forget it. I'm used to it, said Wang Yao. I'll come back in 3 days, said Wang Yao. Tian Yuantu said firmly. He loved his wife. He would try anything as long as there was a chance to cure his illness. Wang Yao was in a cottage on Nanshan Hill. Yao, tell me the truth. Can you cure her illness? Asked Zhang Xiumei. Zhang Xiumei was worried about her nephew. She regretted it before she came. Tian Yuantu was not an ordinary person. If he vented his anger on Wang Yao because of this, she had to bear the responsibility as his aunt. I can cure her, but the medicine is very expensive. It depends on whether he is willing to spend the money, said Wang Yao. What medicine is so expensive? Asked Zhang Xiumei. Sorry, I can't tell you. Also, don't let my parents know about this, or they will be worried, said Wang Yao. Okay, said Zhang Xiumei with a sigh. She was still worried about Wang Yao. Zhang Xiumei stayed at Wang Yao's house. The two sisters had not seen each other for a long time. They seemed to have a lot to talk about when they met. Wang Yao would read and study in his room after dinner and then go to bed. The next morning, Wang Yao got up early as usual. He had a simple breakfast and then went up the mountain to work. After he finished his work on the mountain, he rode his motorcycle to the town. He wanted to get some good tea seedlings and plant them on the mountain, but there were none in the town. Besides, it was not the right season. He went to the county, but he couldn't find any. Later, he asked someone and learned that there was a tea garden not far away. He rode there and bought some tea seedlings. He didn't have a lot of tea seedlings, less than 30. He didn't know much about tea, so he asked the person for some knowledge. After buying the tea seedlings, he went back to the hill and found a place to plant them. He then watered them with diluted ancient spring water. It won't be long before we have tea to drink. Wang Yao looked at the tea seedlings he had just planted and said happily, We can't just have tea. We need to plant some fruit trees. Yes. In the cool mountain breeze, a young man was working happily. The next day, Wang Yao plucked 2 leaves of the moonlight grass that had grown a little longer and began to decoct the anshensen. With his first experience, he was much more confident this time. However, the process of decocting the medicine was still meticulous. He did not dare to have the slightest bit of carelessness. Weighing the medicine, washing it, soaking it, and decocting it. Every step was very meticulous. When he finally saw the light orange medicinal soup, he let out a sigh of relief. It should be a success. 3 days later, in the morning, Tian Yuantu arrived as promised. This time, he was alone. Wang Yao had already prepared the anshensen and put it in the white porcelain bottle he had bought in the city. How much do you want to pay? Tian Yuantu took the medicine that was still warm and asked. I'll pay you all at once, Wang Yao said. This was not his rule, but the system's rule. He had specifically asked before, and the system told him that he had to pay in full in one go, and that he could convert gold into cash. What if it doesn't work? Tian Yuantu asked. It was true that he was rich, but it did not mean that he could throw out the money casually. On the contrary, as a successful businessman, he paid attention to the value of his money. I'm here and my home is here. You can come to me at any time, but if you make trouble without reason, then... Some things were better said openly. Although Wang Yao did not have a countermeasure temporarily, he should have one soon. Okay. Tian Yuantu did not say any more nonsense. Instead, he happily transferred the money with his mobile phone and left. Looking at the text message on his mobile phone, Wang Yao still felt a little unreal. There was actually an extra 260,000 yuan. Rich people are really different. He looked up at the Land Rover in the distance and sighed. I didn't expect that there would be a reward for selling medicine. At the moment when the transaction was successful, Wang Yao heard the system prompt. After Tian Yuantu left, he called out the system panel and saw that after selling a dose of medicine, he had received 2 reward points and several experience points. Dozens of miles away, in the most luxurious villa area in Lianshan County, in a villa, a gentle beauty was holding a white porcelain bottle and sipping. Beside her was her husband, Tian Yuantu, who had just rushed back from Wang Yao's place. How do you feel? Tian Yuantu asked softly. This is not a magic pill. How can it take effect so quickly? Su Jiahui smiled and said, however, I can feel the warmth in my abdomen. It's quite comfortable. In less than 10 minutes, the warmth had spread to most of her body, and part of her fatigue and discomfort had been driven away. It works. Su Jiahui nodded. It's good that it works. Drink this bottle of medicine within 3 days. If it's cold, boil it with hot water. I know. It's not the first time I've taken medicine, Su Jiahui said with a smile. That night, Su Jiahui slept peacefully. She did not use sleeping pills and only woke up once in the middle of the night. For her, this was an extremely rare enjoyment. In fact, all these years, her biggest wish was to be able to sleep peacefully. The next day, after waking up, she felt much more comfortable. She washed her face and looked much better than yesterday. After all, for the human body, sufficient sleep was the best rest. This medicine really works. Seeing his wife's magical changes overnight, Tian Yuantu was even happier than her. I'll go find him. Who are you looking for? Su Jiahui pulled him. Wang Yao. Why do you want to see him? I'm asking him if he wants to take more medicine. I haven't finished the medicine yet. Let's talk about it after I finish it, Su Jiahui said with a smile. Yes. You see, I was so happy that I forgot about it. I didn't expect there to be such a master in the world. I really want to see his master. Does he really have a master? Su Jiahui asked her husband with a smile. What do you mean? Tian Yuantu was stunned. Lianshan County is not big, but it's not small either. In the first few years, we asked all the famous doctors in Lianshan County to treat my illness. But I've never heard of such an amazing doctor. Just one medicine, which hasn't been used up, has an immediate effect on my illness for more than 10 years. How amazing is this doctor? What do you mean? I see that the Chinese herbs in his herbal field are growing very well. It's October and the leaves are as green as jade, Su Jiahui said. Su Jiahui said. When they were on Nanshan Hill, she rarely spoke, but she was not idle. She carefully looked at the medicinal field, and also carefully observed the young man, who had an extraordinary manner of speech. Chapter 34. You're quite observant. Could it be the young man named Wang Yao? If so, he's really amazing, Tian Yuantu said. He had such extraordinary ability at such a young age. It was more than amazing. I'm just guessing. Maybe there are many unknown masters in Lianshan County in recent years. Maybe the master is that young man. But it's useless to guess, Su Jiahui said with a smile. Yes, we don't need to care so much. As long as he can cure your illness, it's fine. Yes. That day, the sun was shining brightly and the sky was blue. On Nanshan Hill, Wang Yao stood in front of his herbal field. His face was gloomy. More than a dozen of the herbs he planted were uprooted. Some of the leaves were swept to the ground. San Xian, who was left on the hill to guard the door, walked with a limp. He didn't dare to touch the ground with his front legs. Obviously, he was injured. San Xian, come here. Let me have a look. Wang Yao squatted down to take a closer look. He found that San Xian's leg was beaten, but it was not serious. The damaged herbs in the herbal field were the Radix sapochnikovia and Radix gentiani. He took a closer look and was relieved. The moonlight herb and the detoxification herb were not damaged. It was probably because they grew slower than the Radix gentiani and were not eye-catching. Also, they were close to the cottage. Even so, Wang Yao was still alarmed. Someone had set their eyes on his herbal field. This was the first time, and it was just the beginning. If he didn't take any measures, there would be a second and third time. I have to think of something. Oh, I should ask the system. Wang Yao had an idea. System, is there a way to protect this herbal field from external invasion? Yes. What is it? Release poisonous insects, set up a battle array, move the entire herbal field to an independent space. Wait, which one is suitable for me now? Wang Yao hurriedly interrupted the system. If he released poisonous insects, what would happen to the people going up the hill? Also, moving the herbal field to an independent space sounded like a fantasy. It was not something he could do in a short time. No. The system said simply. Why? Insufficient level. These words again. Wang Yao felt helpless. Then there's no other way. We can only stay on Nanshan Hill for the next few days. Wang Yao tidied up the destroyed herbs with heartache. Then, he tidied up the herbal field. After that, he went home and told his parents that he was going to bring some things to the mountain. He was going to spend the night on the mountain. San Xian, rest well. When you are better, we will go down the mountain and find the guy who dared to destroy my herbal field. Woof, woof, woof. San Xian seemed to understand Wang Yao's words and barked loudly. In this way, Wang Yao began his life of guarding the herbal field. During the day it was better. Although some people had dirty thoughts, they did not dare to do anything. After all, Wang Yao was not the only one on the mountain. There were other herders and farmers on the mountain. In this way, Wang Yao had time to do other things. At night, the light in the cottage was on until midnight. As long as one was not blind, one would know that there was someone in the cottage. 2 days later, a rather unexpected guest came to Wang Yao's herbal field. A Land Rover drove up Nanshan Hill to the surprise of the villagers. Damn, it's a Land Rover again! Is there any treasure on Nanshan Hill? I heard that the last 2 times it was to find Wang Yao. The college student who jumped into the river? Yes, I heard that someone wanted to buy Nanshan Hill from him. He asked for 1 million. What? It was just a luxurious car, but it caused rumors to spread in the quiet mountain village. It was all related to Nanshan Hill and Wang Yao. Hello, I am here to disturb you again. After seeing Wang Yao, Tian Yuantu was very polite. Hello, Director Tian. What can I do for you? Regarding Tian Yuantu's arrival, Wang Yao was a little surprised. Is the Anshensen ineffective? But looking at him, it doesn't seem like it. Don't call me Director Tian. It sounds awkward. You can call me Old Tian or Brother Tian. Both are fine. I came to see you this time for 2 things. First, I want to express my gratitude. Since taking the medicine you provided, my wife's body has recovered very quickly. Her illness has basically been eliminated. She has been sleeping soundly, and her whole body has improved a lot. Thank you. Hearing this, Wang Yao's hanging heart was relieved. He had been a little worried about what to do if the medicine he provided was not right for the patient. Not only could he not complete the task, but he might also offend people. Now it seemed that he was overthinking. Ding. Task. Obtain the approval of a patient within 10 days. Completed. At this time, an unexpected prompt sounded. Strange. It was Tian Yuantu who came, not his wife who was a patient. Why would there be a prompt to complete the task? After hearing the prompt, Wang Yao was stunned. He was a little confused, but he was very happy immediately. No matter what, the task was completed. The second thing is that I want to buy another medicine. Buy medicine? Wang Yao was stunned. Why? I'm afraid that this medicine can't make my wife recover. Wang Yao was relieved. Come to get the medicine tomorrow, Wang Yao said. Hearing Wang Yao's promise, Tian Yuantu was secretly relieved. Okay, what's the name of the medicine? And Shensen dispels depression, regulates qi, nourishes the heart and calms the nerves. Wang Yao said. It is indeed nourishing the heart and calming the nerve. I have never seen such a magical medicine. This medicine is worthy of the name of panacea. It is really magical, Tian Yuantu praised. You are flattering me, Wang Yao said modestly. After chatting for a while, Tian Yuantu said goodbye and left. As soon as he left, another person followed him up the hill. It was Wang Mingbao, who had not been there for some time. Who was the boss just now? Wang Mingbao asked as soon as he went up the hill. He came to ask for medicine. Have you bought the shop? Yes, it is. It is being renovated. It is ready to open on the 8th of next month. Remember to come and support me. I will definitely go, Wang Yao said. Wait, you just said you were looking for medicine. What medicine are you looking for? Did you grow the medicine? No, I made the decoction. Wang Yao didn't want to hide anything from his best friend. You can make medicine? Yes, a little. Damn, you can even do this. What else can't you do? Wang Mingbao was surprised. I am not very good at doing business. What are you looking for me for? Nothing, I just came to have a look. By the way, I went to your house last night. My aunt said you spent the night on the hill. What happened? Take care of the herbal field. Someone is jealous. Wang Mingbao immediately guessed something. Yes. Have you found out? Wang Mingbao's eyes showed a trace of fierceness. Not yet. Leave it to me. I want to see who is so blind in the village. Don't mess around. Don't worry, I know what to do, Wang Mingbao said. Chapter 35. They chatted for a while, and then Wang Mingbao got up and went down the hill. After he left, Wang Yao opened the system panel and checked the reward for completing the task. It was a book. With a thought, the book appeared in his hand. The book was very simple. There were a few ancient characters on the cover. Wang Yao, who didn't know ancient characters, recognized them as natural classics. He opened the book and found that it was full of ancient characters. Wang Yao could recognize all of them as if they were born in his mind. The book was very mysterious. It talked about the way of nature. There was even a set of methods of breathing and guiding qi in it. The book was not thick, and there were only a few pages. Wang Yao read it several times and remembered it. System, what's the use of natural classics? Wang Yao asked curiously. It contains the way of nature and the way of cultivation. If you understand it thoroughly, you can become immortal and ascend. Note: this book cannot be passed on to others. If you violate it, any of your attributes will be reduced to 0. 1. Seeing such an answer, Wang Yao was shocked. Wasn't this the legendary book? Becoming immortal and ascending? Didn't that mean he would become a god? Oh my god, this is an absolute treasure. As for the warning that it could not be passed on to others, he naturally kept it in mind. If one of his attributes was reduced to 0, 1, he would become useless. After getting the book, Wang Yao was very happy. He studied it carefully. However, the ancient characters were quite profound, and he couldn't understand them. However, he could understand the method of breathing and guiding qi, so he tried to practice it. At the beginning, the method of breathing and guiding qi was to regulate breathing. Breathing in and out was the foundation of human beings. Therefore, Wang Yao practiced the method of guiding qi in the beginning of natural classics in addition to taking care of the herbal field on Nanshan Hill. He also picked 2 pieces of moonlight herb in advance, and carefully decocted a dose of anshensen. He put it into a white porcelain bottle. The next morning, the sky was a little gloomy and the wind was a little cold. It seemed that it was going to rain. At about 10 o'clock, Tian Yuantu drove the Land Rover to Nanshan Hill. Hello. Hello, Brother Tian. Wang Yao smiled and changed the way he addressed him. Su. How is sister-in-law's illness? Very good, very good. I've been eating well and sleeping well these days. I feel much better. Thank you so much. Tian Yuantu said with a smile. What he said was true. His wife changed from a sickly sister Lin to a healthy and virtuous wife with a dose of medicine. This was something that he had never dared to imagine before. Where? Wang Yao smiled. He felt a little ashamed. After all, this was a set of medicine that had been sold at a sky-high price. Excuse me, is the medicine ready? Tian Yuantu's attitude towards Wang Yao had also changed. Previously, it was just a hypocritical conversation between businessmen. Now, he revealed his true feelings. Done. Wang Yao waved his hand, and a white porcelain bottle appeared in his hand. What is this? Tian Yuantu was a little surprised. He was surprised by this magical scene, but he quickly calmed down. He smiled and took the bottle. The bottle was warm. It seemed that the medicine had just been brewed. Without saying anything, Tian Yuantu immediately transferred the money to Wang Yao's account with his mobile phone. In just a moment, 260,000 yuan was added to Wang Yao's account. It was just like making a lot of money every day. After chatting for a while, Tian Yuantu left. Wang Yao went into the house because he had just heard the prompt of the system. Upgrade requirements met. Do you want to upgrade? Yes. Character level. 2 profession level. Rookie, yes, still a rookie. Herb planting. Level 1 beginner, you can only plant herbs. In addition, Wang Yao found that the originally gray skill panel was now lit up. He hurriedly opened it. Medical medicine. A panel, a skill tree, and 2 big branches. One was medical skills, and the other was pharmaceutical skills. Under medical skills, there were main branches and branches. The first one was basic medical skills. Traditional Chinese medicine looked, listened, asked, and felt the pulse. Asking and feeling the pulse came first, followed by looking and listening. Diagnosis. Looking and knowing is called God. Hearing and knowing is called saint. Asking and knowing is called skill. Feeling the pulse and knowing is called skill. Among these 4 diagnosis methods, the first one was the most difficult and also the most mysterious. Feeling the pulse and asking about the disease were the most basic and also the most commonly used. After that, there were skills such as medicine, acupuncture, and so on. At the end, there was even rejuvenation, which sounded like the magic of immortals. And pharmaceutical skills also started from the basic. After that, it was pharmaceutical skills and alchemy skills. This skill tree was actually not complicated, and there were not many skills. To learn skills, skill points were needed. Wang Yao leveled up twice and received 2 skill points. Wang Yao was just about to click on it, but he found that there was another panel behind the panel. He clicked on it and saw 2 simple words, medicine shop. This was a picture like an electronic shopping mall, but more quaint. There were herbs, seeds, medicines, prescriptions, sundries, and so on, but most of them were in a gray state. Wait, this is... Suddenly, Wang Yao saw a small booklet that was shining with 5 colors. 5 elements formation, elementary. This medicine shop actually had such a thing, but it sounded very scary. Then he looked at the price below. 80 reward points. He had completed several characters and sold 2 sets of medicine. The reward points he received each time were both high and low. The low reward points were 2 and the high reward points were 10. He only received 58 points, which was still not enough to reach the price. The road ahead was long. He still needed to work hard. After thinking for a moment, Wang Yao added 2 skill points to basic medical skills and basic pharmaceutical skills. Suddenly, he felt that his head was swollen, as if there were countless things pouring into his brain. It was as if his head could be squeezed at any time. He was in extreme pain. He squatted on the ground and held his head. His face was flushed. Fortunately, this feeling came and went quickly. After a moment, he returned to normal. Huff, huff, huff. Wang Yao squatted on the ground and breathed heavily. After his breathing calmed down a little, he shook his head. Just now, after learning those two skills, a large amount of knowledge suddenly rushed into his mind from who knows where, and then exploded, almost causing him to collapse. What is this? Is this enlightenment? After calming down and looking carefully, Wang Yao found that there were two sets of systematic knowledge in his mind. One was the most basic method of pulse diagnosis in Chinese medicine, detailed methods and medical principles. The other was the knowledge of identification of Chinese medicine, how to identify the age, efficacy, and quality of Chinese medicine. These should be only a part of basic medical skills and basic pharmaceutical skills. Let's try it. After learning this knowledge, Wang Yao couldn't wait to try it. The method of pulse diagnosis couldn't be tested for the time being, but the identification of Chinese medicine could be done because there were still some Chinese medicine bought from the county in his hut that had not been used up. They were stored in different categories in the hut. Chapter 36. He went into the cottage and took out the herbs. Then he compared them with the knowledge in his mind. Angelica, the firewood is too strong. It's too dry. Not good. Astragalus, the skin is too hard. It's hollow. Not good. Salvia miltiariza, thin and light in color. Not good. According to the knowledge he had just learned, the herbs he bought seemed to be inferior. Although they could be used as medicine, their medicinal properties were much worse than those of good herbs. If he used good herbs, 1 dose of medicine might be effective. However, to use these herbs, he needed at least 3 doses of medicine. Medicine had side effects, and Chinese medicine was the same. Therefore, the preparation was very important. The first thing was to choose good herbs. It turns out that there is so much knowledge in it. Ding. Task. Successfully prepare 10 medicines in 7 days. No repetitions. What does it mean by no repetitions? Up to today, I have prepared them before. What about 10 times for one medicine? Don't show off your IQ. The system replied with these words. Damn. I'm going to be busy again. 7 days, 10 medicines. Very tight. Wang Yao didn't dare to waste any time. He started to read books and surf the internet as soon as he entered the house. Coupled with the sudden influx of knowledge in his mind, it took him an entire afternoon to decide on 11 sets of herbs. At the same time, he also listed out the herbs needed to prepare them. There were a total of 57 kinds of herbs, and some of the herbs were universal. This was already considered simple. The things passed down in China for thousands of years were profound and profound. A person could learn and understand in a lifetime, but it was just a drop in the ocean. The funny thing was that some people abandoned it. Wang Yao now had some herbs in his cottage. He could decoct one of the medicines. After confirming the prescription, he chose the herbs, weighed the herbs, washed the herbs, soaked the herbs, and decocted them. He didn't stop, but he was careful and serious. He couldn't be careless. Ephedra, cinnamon, almond, licorice. Wang Yao didn't succeed until 2 o'clock in the morning. He tried 3 times in a row. Ephedra soup, pungent and warm to relieve perspiration. After tidying up, he rested for a few hours. It was already dawn, so he got up early and started to work. He tidied up the herbal field and watered it with ancient spring water. After estimating the time, he called home. As he was preparing to enter the city today, he was worried about the herbal field. Therefore, he called home and asked his mother to come over and take care of it. After Zhang Xiuying went up the mountain, Wang Yao said a few words to his mother, then hurriedly went down the mountain and rode into the city. Slow down, brat. You're so flustered. Young man, you're here again. After seeing Wang Yao, the person who bought the herbs was surprised. What herbs are you buying this time? Here, this is the list. Wang Yao handed over the list with a smile. So many? The man was shocked. Sorry to trouble you. All right, wait a moment. Can I go in and take a look? Wang Yao said. Because those herbs were stored separately, he also took the opportunity to learn. Sure, come on. Following the middle-aged man, Wang Yao came to the place where the herbs were stored. In a large empty room, there were dozens of rows of shelves with boxes on them. Various herbs were stored in the boxes. The iron shelves were labeled, so it was easy to find. The ginseng planted here is not old enough. The glossy Ganoderma is gray in color. The quality is not good. The sealwort is much worse than the one I planted. As Wang Yao walked, he evaluated the herbs in the warehouse according to the system. After walking around, he found that all the herbs in the warehouse were of poor quality. In fact, even the herbs planted by hand were divided into different grades. In some places, the herbs planted in the wild were, as much as possible. It was similar to free-range farming. Although the harvest was poor, the quality of the herbs was better. The herbs stored in the warehouse were large-scale farming. The harvest was high and the cost was low, but the quality was also poor. It took nearly 2 hours for the man to prepare the herbs Wang Yao needed. He filled 2 sacks with the herbs. Sorry to trouble you, Wang Yao said after paying the money. This is my phone number. Next time you come to buy herbs, call me directly. In the end, the man gave Wang Yao his contact information. They had been in contact a few times, so Wang Yao was kind of an acquaintance. Okay, I'll go first. Wang Yao took the contact information left by the man and returned home with the herbs. He took the trouble to go up the mountain. Yao, what did you buy? Zhang Xiaoying looked at her son, who was sweating profusely as he carried 2 big sacks of herbs up the mountain. Chinese herbs. Chinese herbs? Are you going to decoct the medicine again? Zhang Xiaoying asked. Yes, Wang Yao replied. Leave it to me. You can go back and rest. Don't forget to go home for dinner. Got it. After Zhang Xiaoying left, Wang Yao began to be busy. First, he sorted out the herbs he bought. Then, he selected the herbs to decoct the medicine according to the prescription. Then, he began the process of decocting the medicine. The decoction of Chinese herbs was a boring process. It didn't mean that you could just leave it after decocting it. You needed to control the heat. Although Wang Yao now had a treasure like the multifunctional pot for herbs, he still didn't dare to be careless. He always controlled the heat. In fact, at the beginning of the decoction, Wang Yao also felt that it was boring. It was purely for the sake of completing the task. However, gradually, he found some of the fun in it. Perhaps it had something to do with his own personality. He originally liked to be quiet and liked to study things. There was a lot of knowledge in the decoction of Chinese herbs. He also recorded some of his new discoveries. That day, at night, he successfully decocted another set of Chinese herbs. This set of herbs had the same effect as the ephedra decoction he decocted the night before. It was also good for relieving superficies, but the prescription was different. Wang Yao breathed a sigh of relief. He looked up at the clock on the wall. It was only 8 o'clock at night. There was still plenty of time to decoct another set of herbs. However, he packed his things and prepared to have a good rest. He wanted to concentrate on the decoction during the day. After a tiring day, Wang Yao lay down and fell asleep. In the middle of the night, he heard a dog barking outside. He immediately sat up from the bed. He hurriedly put on his clothes, picked up the flashlight and the short stick standing at the foot of the wall. He opened the door and rushed out. Then, he saw a figure more than 10 meters away. Wang Yao chased for a while and stopped. The person didn't enter the village. Instead, he went deeper into Nanshan Hill. San Xian, come back! He shouted, and San Xian came back with a limp. This dog was very loyal. You came back quickly. It's midnight. You did something wrong. How dare you go deep into the mountain? Aren't you afraid of ghosts? Chapter 37. Wang Yao checked around with his hand lamp. There was not much damage this time. Only a few gentians had their leaves pulled out. The other party reacted quickly. They must have stopped when they heard the noise in the house. Then, they turned around and ran away. Wang Yao stood on the hill and looked into the distance. He saw a corner of the village. It was very quiet at night. Some people won't give up until they see the coffin. The next morning, it was drizzling. The autumn rain was very cold. Wang Yao watered the herbs in the herbal field as usual. Although it was raining, it could not be compared with the magical ancient spring water. After finishing his work, he went back to the house and began to choose the herbs according to the prepared prescription and decoction. Dongsang leaves, licorice, platycodon, mint, forsythia, reed root inside the house. A person, a pot, a fire, and a smell of herbs. Outside the house, the autumn rain was continuous and quiet on Nanshan Hill. Such a day was suitable for doing many things, such as finding a place to have a cup of coffee, reading a good book at home, thinking about something while looking at the rain, or having a good sleep. It was usually very quiet on a rainy day. Wang Yao was in the cottage. He looked at the fire, smelled the herbal fragrance, and decocted the herbs. It was not boring. He enjoyed it very much. Cocksfoot, bramble mustard, silver flower, bamboo leaves, atractylodes, poria cocos, yam, lotus seeds, licorice. Perhaps it was because of the rain, Wang Yao's heart was very calm. He had successfully decocted 3 decoctions in one day. The sky was still bright in the afternoon. Wang Yao took a long breath. He put out the fire, brushed the multifunctional pot for herbs, and stretched his body. Let's call it a day. In less than 2 days, he had successfully decocted 4 decoctions. The progress of the task was much faster than he had expected. He was not in a hurry. He sat on the chair, took out the book of natural classics, and began to read it silently. Although he didn't understand the specific meaning of the scripture, he could vaguely feel the mystery of it. What made him happy was that he had finally touched the threshold of the foundation of the qi-inducing skill, which he hadn't found the knack of, which was the method of breathing. Hiss, phew, the essence of the Tao steals the darkness. The extreme of the Tao is muddled and silent. Ignore the unheard of, embrace the spirit in stillness, and the form will be upright. The way of nature is always clear, the way of yin and yang is always quiet, and the way of man is always sutra. It is called the way of nature. The great Tao was formless, but it gave birth to the heavens and the earth. The great Tao was emotionless, but it operated the sun and the moon. The great Tao was nameless, but it nurtured all living things. Man followed the earth followed the heavens followed the Tao, and the Tao followed nature. The natural classics was not very long, so it would not take a long time to read it. Wang Yao read it very slowly. First of all, the text was obscure, and second of all, he wanted to understand the philosophy contained in it. Unknowingly, the sky had darkened, but he still read it silently as if he did not feel it. Buzz. His phone suddenly rang. Wang Yao closed the book and put it back into the system, muttering, "What a pity." Just a moment ago, he seemed to have entered a mysterious state. It was as if he had touched something, seen something, and felt something. With just a sound, everything disappeared. This scripture is indeed extraordinary. Hello, Mom? Come home for dinner. I haven't seen you all day. Zhang Xiaoying's concerned voice came from the phone. Got it, Mom. Wang Yao closed the door, held an umbrella, and went down the hill. The hill in the rain was very quiet, especially when the sky was dark. It was so quiet that it was a little scary. Wang Yao was used to it. After he went down the hill and returned home, dinner was already on the table. There were 4 dishes and a soup, including fish and meat. Wow, what a sumptuous meal! What day is it today? Wang Yao smiled and asked. Don't talk nonsense. Wash your hands quickly. Okay. The family of 3 had a joyous meal. Are you still going up the hill at night? Yes, I am a little worried, Wang Yao said. Mom is worried about you being alone in the deep hill at night. Zhang Xiuying had said this more than once. Don't you have San Xian with you? Wang Yao smiled and said. Do you want your dad to go up the hill with you? Don't tease me. There is only one bed in the cottage. It's really fine. Don't worry about it. After much persuasion, Wang Yao finally dispelled his mother's thoughts. After dinner and chatting for a while, Wang Yao went out with an umbrella and went up the hill. Lao Wang, why didn't you say anything just now? Persuade him. Zhang Xiuying immediately scolded her boss when Wang Yao went out of the door. Wang Fenghua just smoked silently. Let him grind. After a long while, he said this sentence. What? Didn't you not agree with him planting herbs a few days ago? Wang Fenghua did not say anything. He had a meal with the village party secretary a few days ago. During the meal, the village party secretary, Wang Jianli, drank a little too much and talked a lot. Wang Fenghua remembered a few words very clearly. Wang Yao in your family is a young man who will surpass us in time. He knows how to deal with people and knows how to deal with accident. The whole village misjudged him. In the village, Wang Jianli praised a lot of people, but it was all superficial. People who knew him well knew that when he praised someone after drinking, it was a real compliment. When such words were said by a young man, it was a great compliment. It was also at that time that Wang Fenghua realized that his son had really changed. Let him be. Wang Yao went up the hill with a lantern. It did not take long for him to reach the cottage. A door blocked the wind and rain outside. The light was turned on. In the deep hill there was a soft sound of chanting. The rain fell quietly outside the cottage. It did not stop until after midnight. The next day, the weather suddenly became much colder. After watering the herbal field, Wang Yao went up the hill. He sat cross-legged on a rock and silently practiced according to the breathing method taught in the Natural Classic. He had looked up the book on the internet. It was rumored that it was written by Guang Qingzi, the golden immortal of Taoism. However, the book on the internet was not the same as the one given by the system. Not only were there fewer scriptures, but there was also no the most basic Taoing technique at all. It was like an abridged version. Wang Yao closed his eyes and silently breathed. Suddenly, he felt bright in front of him. It was the sun. Early in the morning, the vitality was the most abundant. The sun was gentle, unlike the sun at noon. It was suitable for breathing. After sitting on the hill for about an hour, Wang Yao saw that people had started to go up the hill. He went down the hill and went into the cottage to continue brewing the medicine. Moo ba! A herd of cows and sheep went up the hill along the road. Uncle, so early? Hey, what's that smell? It smells like herbs. I wonder what Fenghua's son is doing. He's been on the hill all day. He doesn't look for a job. Well, farming is also good. The old man took a puff from his pipe and looked at the small house in the distance. What's so good about it? Can it make money? The middle-aged man who was looking at the hoe disdainfully said. It's better to bully an old man than a poor young man. Chapter 38. While Wang Yao was decocting the decoction, a Land Rover entered the village and went up Nanshan Hill along the mountain road. Woof, woof, woof. Wang Yao, who was decocting the decoction, heard the dog barking outside. He knew someone had come. It was a couple who went up the mountain. The man was slightly plump, had a square face and thick eyebrows, and the woman was gentle and delicate. They were Tian Yuantu and Su Jiahui, who had come not long ago. This time they did not come empty-handed. They also brought some gift. Little brother? Tian Yuantu shouted twice before he arrived at the cottage, but he didn't get a reply. He thought Wang Yao wasn't in the cottage and was about to leave. However, He smelled a unique herbal fragrance. He walked closer to the window and looked at Wang Yao through the window. He found that Wang Yao was concentrating on decocting the herbal medicine and didn't hear his shout. Tian Yuantu then called out softly, "Brother Tian?" Wang Yao turned his head and found that it was Tian Yuantu and Su Jiahui, which surprised him. "Please come in and have a seat." He got up and opened the door to let them in. The cottage was not big. There was only a bed, a big pot, and a table. In addition, there were Chinese herbs in every corner. It was really a bit messy. "Sorry, the room is too messy. Please wait a moment." Wang Yao was about to finish decocting the decoction. "You go ahead," Tian Yuantu said with a smile. The couple sat aside and watched Wang Yao stare at the decoction. When the time came, he quickly took the multifunctional pot for herbs from the fire and poured the decoction into the prepared utensils. Then, he poured the decoction into the hedge aside to control the water. His movements were very skillful. "Sorry." After hearing the system prompt that the decoction was successfully decocted, Wang Yao turned around and greeted Tian Yuantu and his wife, who had been waiting for a while. "It's okay. What decoction are you decocting?" "It's a qi-replenishing decoction. It's a common decoction." Wang Yao smiled and made tea for them. "It seems that Madame Su has recovered from her illness." As soon as he entered the room, Wang Yao paid special attention to Su Jiahui. He saw that her face was ruddy and her eyes were bright. Compared to the sickly state she had been in a few days ago, she was like a completely different person. "Don't call me Madame Su. You can call me Big Sister or Sister-in-law. Your two medicines are really miraculous. They took effect immediately. My illness is completely cured." Su Jiahui sighed. Over the years, she had been tortured by this illness. Now that she could recover, she was naturally overjoyed. "This time, we have two things to do. The first is to thank you for curing my wife's illness," Tian Yuantu said. "You guys spent money." Speaking of this matter, Wang Yao was a little embarrassed. After all, the price of the 2 sets of medicine was ridiculously high. Except for the moonlight flower, which was a spiritual herb, the other herbs were ordinary Chinese medicine, and could even be considered as inferior. "It's good that you don't think it's expensive." After listening, Tian Yuantu roughly understood Wang Yao's meaning and immediately said, "Expensive? It's not expensive. This is a medicine that can cure diseases and save lives. Think about it. Some teas cost hundreds of thousands of taels. Some flowers cost hundreds of thousands of taels. Can they save lives? No. Compared to them, your medicine is worth thousands of taels of gold because human life is priceless." Tian Yuantu's words suddenly reminded Wang Yao. Yes, human lives are priceless, and those licorice roots are not so easy to get. Wang Yao thought, "Brother Tian, what about the second thing?" "The second thing? I know a friend who also has this strange illness. His mind is restless. His illness is even worse than Jiahui's. He can't get out of bed. Can you talk to your master and ask him to take a look?" Tian Yuantu asked. "My master is old and has retired. He doesn't treat people anymore," Wang Yao said after thinking for a while. "What about you?" Wang Yao was about to refuse when he heard the system prompt. Mission: pharmacist who can cure all kinds of difficult and complicated illnesses, can't take the initiative and can't visit. The reward is random. The penalty for failure is having any 2 attribute points. Hearing this mission, Wang Yao thought to himself, cure all kinds of difficult and complicated illnesses. If someone came to the mountain to ask for medicine in the future, he couldn't refuse. "I'm very busy recently. I can't leave," Wang Yao said. "Can't you make an exception? As the saying goes, saving a life is better than building a 7-floor pagoda. My friend's body is very weak. I can't travel around." "I'm sorry," Wang Yao said. Tian Yuantu was silent for a moment. He looked a little disappointed and took a step back. Can I ask for a medicine on his behalf? What medicine? Anshensen. This was the name of the medicine his wife took. It had wonderful effects and could be called a panacea. Okay. Come back in 2 days. The two of them sat for a while and got up to leave. Wang Yao didn't want to accept their gifts, but they were very determined. He couldn't refuse, so he had to accept. After the two of them left, Wang Yao got busy again. You want to ask for a medicine for Mr. Chui? Su Jiahui asked in the car after they went down the mountain. Yes. Unfortunately, he didn't agree, Tian Yuantu said. You seem to have great expectations for him, Su Jiahui said to her husband with a smile. He's definitely not an ordinary person if he can make a panacea like Anshensen. Moreover, I feel a little different from a few days ago. Yes, I feel it too, Su Jiahui said. His temperament seems to be more otherworldly. It's like a hermit in the mountains. Yes, I hope that medicine can have some effect. Mr. Chui's illness is much worse than mine, right? Yes. His illness has been affected for a long time. If it weren't for his extraordinary family background and the panacea, he would have died long ago, Tian Yuantu said. But you still dare to ask for a medicine for him. What if there's something wrong with the medicine? Su Jiahui was a little worried. It doesn't matter. First, he and I are indeed friends. If I can help him, I will. Second, he has a master in his family. He will check whether the medicine is effective or not, Tian Yuantu said. I hope it's effective. On Nanshan Hill, Wang Yao was concentrating on decocting the medicine. He had finished 6 out of the 10 decoctions. Only half of the time had passed. This afternoon, after he finished decocting the 7th decoction, he stopped as usual. He tidied everything up and sat at the table. He took out the natural classics and started to read. Outside the cottage, the herbs were swaying in the wind. San Xian was lying quietly under the window. It seemed that it was listening to its master's chanting. It was fascinated. In the distance, people were busy in the mountains. The sun was setting in the west. People who had been busy all day went down the mountain to go home. Wang Yao closed the book gently. With his mind, the book turned into a streamer and disappeared. He closed his eyes and meditated for a moment. Then he got up and went home. Chapter 39. When he returned home, he was surprised to find his sister, Wang Ru, was also at home. Sister. Before Wang Yao sat down, Wang Ru started to lecture him. Boy, I heard from Mom that you spend all day on the hill and even at night. Are you possessed? Didn't you say you were going to the city to look for a job? Why are you so quiet? Don't change the subject. Didn't you say you found a boyfriend last week? Zhang Xiuying slammed the table. Yes, Wang Ru said with a smile. Yes, why? Zhang Xiuying stared at her. Our personalities don't match. You're saying that their personalities don't match again. Daughter, can you use a different reason next time? Mom, I'm not in a hurry. Why are you in a hurry? Wang Ru pouted. I'm not in a hurry. I don't even want to go out. People in the village always ask me, is your daughter not married yet? This is a question openly. I don't know what kind of nasty things they say behind my back. Wang Ru's mother said angrily. Who said that? What did they say? Those old women. Wang Ru stared and slammed the table. She stood up. Sit down. Zhang Xiuying shouted. Wang Ru immediately sat down obediently. Wang Yao saw the situation was not good. He didn't want to be implicated, so he got up and quietly moved into the room. And you? Where are you going? Zhang Xiuying looked up and stared at Wang Yao. It's over. Wang Yao thought to himself. When are you going to find a girlfriend? Zhang Xiuying asked. Mom, you'd better talk to my sister first. My sister is not married. As her brother, I have to wait. What do you think? You. Wang Ru pointed at Wang Yao. What about you? Yao is right. You should hurry up and get one for me next month, said Wang Yao. Mom, didn't you say Chinese New Year? Why did you bring it forward? Stop trying to bargain with me. In the evening, Wang Fenghua didn't have dinner at home. Someone in the village invited them to dinner, so the three of them didn't stop eating. Wang Yao hurriedly finished the meal and hid in his room. As usual, he read some books about medicine. After a while, Wang Ru entered his room. Inner Canon of the Yellow Emperor, Compendium of Materia Medica, Invaluable Prescriptions. What are you doing? Studying medicine? Wang Ru was shocked when she saw the books on her brother's desk. I have nothing to do, so I'm just looking around. The civil servant exam is about to start. This time, many units in both the city and the county will have vacancies. You'd better get ready. Wang Ru came into the room to tell her younger brother about this. If it was a few months ago, Wang Yao would definitely be tempted to hear this, but today he just smiled. Sis, my ambitions lie elsewhere. Then what do you want to do? Grow herbs on Nanshan Hill and be a doctor? Medicine master. Pharmacist? What's that? A pharmaceutical analyst? Sis, I think your priority now is to solve your marriage. As for my work, you don't have to worry about it. I'm a slim and elegant flower. There are many people chasing after me. I admire your confidence. Then you should quickly bring back one. Choose a reliable one. What do you mean? I'm going to sleep. You go out and chat with Mom. Wang Yao pushed Wang Ru out as he spoke. He asked his sister to go out and read for a while. Then he went to bed to rest. The next morning, he got up early and started a busy day. He watered the herbal field, climbed to the top of the hill, and sat cross-legged to do breathing exercises. He went down the hill to decoct the herbs. As soon as he started, an uninvited guest came up the hill. Hey, what's this? This looks good. Why do you make so many herbs? Wang Ru couldn't stop asking questions after she went up the hill. She looked around and made Wang Yao's head hurt. Took him a lot of effort to send her down the hill. When he looked up, the sun was already high in the sky. It was time for lunch. Fortunately, she didn't continue to disturb him in the afternoon. Wang Yao successfully decocted another set of herbs. He also decocted a set of anshensen in case Tian Yuantu came to pick it up the next day. When he returned home in the evening, he found Wang Ru was still at home. Sis, don't you have to go to work? Today is Saturday. It turned out that it was the weekend. Wang Yao worked in the hill all day and didn't pay attention to the calendar. Hey, why don't I see you on weekends? What's going on this week? Buzz. Wang Ru's mobile phone rang. She picked it up and frowned slightly. Then she threw it aside. Who is it? Why didn't you answer it? An annoying guy. Wang Ru said unhappily. Is he chasing after you? Who is chasing after you, my daughter? Across the room, Zhang Xiaoying, who was 2 walls away, heard this sentence with extremely sensitive ears. Then she rushed over with a kitchen knife. Damn it, Mom, what are you doing? The bright light of the knife scared Wang Ru and Wang Ru. Who did you say was chasing after you? Zhang Xiaoying put the knife on the table and asked anxiously. A person in my company. Seeing that she couldn't hide, Wang Ru had to tell the truth. That's a good thing. What's his name? How is he? How many brothers and sisters does he have in his family? Zhang Xiaoying asked with a smile, as if she was checking Wang Ru's residence. He is not a good person. He is good at eating, drinking, whoring and gambling. He just divorced his wife. Wang Ru said angrily. What? What? Zhang Xiaoying and Wang Yao were stunned. He is a scumbag. Then you can't say yes to him. Zhang Xiaoying was anxious. Of course, I don't even want to talk to this kind of person. That's why he is hiding at home, Wang Ru said. That's good, that's good. After a few more words, Zhang Xiaoying went back to the kitchen to cook. Sister, what's the person's name? Hu Chengan. Wang Ru said the person's name casually. Then she felt that it was not right. She turned to look at her brother beside her and asked, "Why do you ask?" "I'm just asking. This person, he must have some background, right?" "Yes." "Hey, how do you know?" Wang Ru looked at her brother curiously. "Sister, you are such a shrew, but you still want to hide from him. It means that he is either a rogue or has some background. After all, the Agriculture Bureau is a unit within the system. There shouldn't be any rogue. So, it must be the latter." "Well, I didn't waste my time watching Detective Conan," Wang Ru said. "His father is selling stone and has a net worth of tens of millions. His uncle is the deputy director of the Audit Bureau. I really don't want to have a bad relationship with him." "Oh, if he really goes too far, it doesn't matter if you have a bad relationship with him," Wang Yao said. "If I have a bad relationship with him, what about my job? My boss will give me a hard time," Wang Ru said unhappily. "Then you quit," Wang Yao said with a smile. "Quit? Then what should I do? Go home and plant herbs with you?" "Well, I think that's fine. I don't like ordinary people. Bah, I gave up my job and came back to the mountains to plant herbs. I am not stupid," Wang Ru said. Chapter 40. I'm just kidding. Don't be angry. But don't look down on me. Nanshan Hill and my herbs are priceless, Wang Yao said with a smile. "Humph, keep bragging." Haha. Wang Yao just laughed and didn't say anything more. After lunch, Wang Yao left home and went to Nanshan Hill. Today, he was going to decoct the herbs. In addition to his task, he was going to decoct a dose of anshensen. The smell of herbs filled the air as the fire boiled. Wang Yao was very careful with every step. Decocting herbs was a boring process to outsiders, but he didn't think so. On the contrary, he enjoyed the process. Finally, a dose of anshensen was successfully decocted. Phew! Wang Yao let out a sigh of relief. He poured the warm decoction into a white porcelain bottle that he had prepared in advance. After he was done, he started to decoct another dose of decoction. The sky outside the house gradually darkened. Outside the house, San Xian seemed to have heard something. He got up and walked to the window. A moment later, the chanting sound was heard again. Whoosh! The wind blew. The next morning, on the top of Nanshan Hill, there was a rock that was wide at the bottom and narrow at the top. It protruded from the top of the mountain. Below it was a cliff. Although it wasn't very high, it was still dozens of meters high. It looked a little dizzy. On the rock, a person was sitting upright. His body looked like a bell, but it was undulating rhythmically. He suddenly felt a warm flow in his lower abdomen. Qi sense. He was happy. This was the sign of the beginning of the breathing technique. There was qi in his lower abdomen. This qi was the so-called qi of Neishi. The qi of true vitality was the combination of congenital qi and acquired qi. People's life depended on this qi. In novels, a breath of qi could delay people's aging, morbidity, and even death. It wasn't all a lie. Above the sky, the sun had just risen. After a while, Wang Yao got down from the rock and returned to the herbal field. In the morning, a Land Rover drove into the Wang family village. This was the fourth time this car had entered the village. Many villagers were used to it. This car again? Why is he here again? Is he going to Nanshan Hill again? Up to Nanshan Hill? Wang Ru, who had nothing to do at home and came out for a walk, overheard the villagers' conversation. Looking for that guy? She looked at the Land Rover and saw several nines on the license plate. Hey, this license plate number looks awesome. I think I've seen it somewhere before. Out of curiosity, she followed him up to Nanshan Hill. The Land Rover stopped a few dozen meters away from the cottage. A man got out of the car and walked up the mountain. This man was Tian Yuantu, who had made an appointment with Wang Yao to pick up the medicine. Hello, little brother. Big brother Tian, please. Wang Yao invited Tian Yuantu into the house. Because of the continuous decoction brewing for the past few days, the house was filled with the smell of Chinese medicine. Have some tea. Wang Yao brewed a pot of tea with ancient spring water, which was a rare luxury. Good tea, Tian Yuantu said after taking a sip. It's just ordinary camellia. Wang Yao smiled. You are too modest. This tea is not ordinary. Is the medicine ready? Tian Yuantu smiled. Yes. Wang Yao took out the pre-brewed anshensen and handed it to Tian Yuantu. Thank you. Tian Yuantu immediately transferred the money after taking the medicine. Soon, Wang Yao received a message from the bank. His bank account had more than 200,000 yuan. This was the feeling of making a lot of money every day. While the two were chatting, San Xian, whose leg had almost recovered, barked again. Is someone here? Sister? Why are you here again? When Wang Yao saw that it was his sister, he suddenly felt a headache coming on. Why don't you welcome me? This stupid dog doesn't recognize me. Wang Ru said angrily. Big brother Tian, let me introduce you. This is my sister, Wang Ru. Sister, this is big brother Tian. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Hey, I feel like I've seen you somewhere before. Wang Ru stared at Tian Yuantu for a while. Jiahui Group. Are you Mr. Tian of Jiahui Group? Wang Ru thought for a while and finally matched the man in front of her with someone in her mind. She was very surprised. That's me. Tian Yuantu smiled. Oh my God! The boss of a group with assets of at least 1 billion yuan. He is a well-known figure in Lianshan County and even the whole Haik City. Why is he here? Why is he talking and laughing with his brother? It seems like they are very close. For a moment, Wang Ru's mind was full of questions. Tian Yuantu chatted with the sister and brother for a while and then left. After he left, Wang Ru looked at Wang Yao with a strange look. Sister, why are you looking at me like that? Tell me the truth. How do you know Tian Yuantu? Once, he came to the hill to play. We chatted for a while and then got to know each other, Wang Yao smiled. Play in the hill? He is the boss of a group. Why would he come to a place like Nanshan Hill to play? What's so fun about this place? Wang Ru looked around Nanshan Hill. There were only trees and crop. It was originally just a few hills. There were no strange rocks or strange peaks, no exotic flowers or rare plants. There were also no antiques or famous places. Moreover, there was no traffic. Except for the villagers, almost no outsiders came here. I think it's not bad. There are mountains, trees, and water. The scenery is rural. It's relaxing and quiet. Bulsh *T. Just tell me the truth. I'm telling the truth. Is his identity special? Wang Yao asked curiously. He had heard from his aunt that Tian Yuantu was a businessman with a high net worth. Otherwise, he would not have spent more than 700,000 yuan so easily just to buy 3 decoctions. Of course he's not ordinary. He's the boss of Jiahui Group, one of the top 3 entrepreneurs in Lianshan County. Even in Haik, he's a well-known figure. He even appeared on TV a few days ago. Oh, Wang Yao replied indifferently. Hey, look at your calm face. You have to have a good relationship with such a person. I heard that he has a good relationship with the leaders in the county and even the city. I don't need his help. He can't control our village, Wang Yao said calmly. You. Wang Ru suddenly had an impulse to go crazy when she saw her brother's mentality. I don't want to talk to you anymore. I'm going down. Wang Ru strode down the hill. She was obviously a beautiful woman, but her personality was like that of a hot-tempered man. Slow down, sister, Wang Yao shouted. When they went home for lunch, Wang Ru looked at Wang Yao with a strange look. Wang Yao was afraid that his sister would cause trouble, so he hurriedly ate 2 mouthfuls of rice and went to Nanshan Hill. Mom, my brother is on Nanshan Hill all day long? Yes, what's wrong? What is he busy with? Planting herbs. Zhang Xiuying answered while eating. Chapter 41. I saw a man driving a Land Rover to Nanshan Hill today. He seemed to be very rich, said Wang Ru. Yes. Someone drove the same car to collect herbs a few days ago, said Zhang Xiuying calmly. What? Collecting herbs in a Land Rover? What herbs? Sealwort. He sold it for nearly 400,000 yuan. How much? Wang Ru thought she misheard. 39,000 yuan. Zhang Xiuying looked up at her daughter. Why are your eyes so wide open? 39,000 yuan for just 2 acres of land. Yes. What's wrong? No. Why didn't I know about it? Wang Ru almost shouted. Why are you shouting? Be a lady. You didn't ask about it. Zhang Xiuying's words made Wang Ru speechless. No wonder. No wonder you were so confident when you talked to me yesterday. 2 acres of sealwort made so much money. If the whole Nanshan Hill was filled with sealwort, how much money would we make? Wang Ru's eyes were suddenly full of red banknotes. Girl? Girl? Zhang Xiuying shook her head in front of her. Is it okay? You have to encourage my brother on this matter and let him work hard. Why do I see that there are only a few acres of land? Most of it is empty. Wang Ru came to her senses and said. When she went to Nanshan Hill today, she saw a lot of empty land. Hey, don't worry about your brother's affairs. Hurry up and think about your own affairs. Hey, you can't accept that divorced woman, Zhang Xiuying said with a straight face. I know, Mom. In the afternoon, Wang Yao boiled the decoction in his room quietly. After he succeeded for once, he heard a dog barking outside. Who is it this time? Yao. Sister, why are you here again? Wang Yao suddenly felt a headache. He had been reading natural classics for several days, but the effect was completely useless in front of his weird sister. I heard you made a lot of money from sealwort? Well, what do you want to do? Wang Yao's eyes immediately became alert. I see a large area of Nanshan Hill is empty. Why don't you plant sealwort? I'm interested in Chinese herbs. As for money, it's just a worldly possession. Wang Yao said calmly. Wang Ru rolled her eyes at him and said disdainfully, Keep pretending. Now is not the time to commit suicide by jumping into the river. I wasn't committing suicide. I was saving someone. Wang Yao got angry at the mention of this matter. His sister was a typical example of touching a sore spot. Were they born from the same mother? You don't have to explain. What's there to explain? That's the truth. What are you planning to do in the mountains? I'm herding sheep, Wang Yao snapped. What? Herding sheep? You're going to rear sheep? Mutton is expensive these days. Raising sheep is not a bad idea. I happen to know someone from the Animal Husbandry Bureau. Sister, I'm still very busy. Hurry home and cook. The mountain road is rugged. Take care. Wang Yao directly pushed this long-winded sister out. What time is it to cook? You brat. When Wang Ru came to herself, she found that she had been pushed out of the cottage by Wang Yao. More importantly, the door was locked from the inside. You brat! Finally it was quiet. Wang Yao took a deep breath and silently recited the natural classics that he had memorized in his heart. Then, he continued his mission. When he went home for dinner in the evening, Wang Ru had already left in a taxi. Tomorrow was Monday. She had to go to work. Has my sister left? Wang Yao suddenly felt that it was good to have another person who was chattering all day long and asking about this and that. Yes. Zhang Xiuying responded. She seemed to be worried about something. Do you think that person will continue to pester your sister? You're worried about this? Do you have any friends in the city? Ask them to take care of her. Wang Fenghua, who rarely spoke, suddenly said. As a father, how could he not care about his children? He just expressed it in another way. A father's love was like a mountain. This was what it meant. I'll call them later, Wang Yao promised. Yes. Ask someone to take care of her. She's a girl, so she won't be taken advantage of outside. After dinner, Wang Yao went into his room. After thinking for a while, he really couldn't find a trustworthy person in Lianshan County. Although he used to have a lot of classmates, he hadn't contacted them for a few years. Moreover, this kind of thing was really difficult to entrust if he didn't have a good relationship with them. I got it. Wang Yao suddenly thought of someone and quickly made a phone call. Before he could finish his sentence, the person on the other end of the phone hung up. In less than 10 minutes, there was one more guest in Wang Yao's house. It was Wang Mingbao. What happened to your sister? Wang Mingbao asked as soon as he sat down. He didn't even take a sip of water. This was the person that Wang Yao thought of. First, Wang Mingbao was from the same village and was a childhood friend. Second, he opened a business in Lianshan County. He knew a lot of kung fu and knew a lot of people. He could be of help. Therefore, Wang Yao called him. He didn't expect that he would come directly after answering the phone. He just returned to the village today. After a few words, he directly came over. Someone is chasing her, but that person is not a good person. I'm afraid that my sister will be taken advantage of. You're in the city. If something happens, you can take care of her. Okay. Who's the blind guy? What's his name? Wang Mingbao immediately responded. Hu Chengan. He also works in the Agriculture Bureau. His family has some background. Hu Chengan. Wang Mingbao remembered this name in his mind. By the way, did you catch the person who destroyed the herbal field? Not yet. I have some clues, but I don't have any evidence yet, Wang Mingbao said. Ah, who is it? Beihe Wang Jiangang. Wang Mingbao said the name. Wang Jiangang? Wang Yao frowned slightly. He really didn't have any impression of this name. You don't have any impression of him. He is one of the people who want to contract Nanshan Hill. I went to the village committee to get the video of the recent incident. This guy went out at around 8 p.m. and came home at around 1 a.m. But the strange thing is that the village's camera didn't capture where he went. I originally wanted to swindle him, but he was suddenly hospitalized. So, I put it aside. Hospitalized? When? What's the illness? Wang Yao asked. Well, it seems to be about 10 days ago. He fell into a ditch while walking at night and fractured his bone, Wang Mingbao said. About 10 days ago? At night? Wang Yao's eyes lit up. That day, a person went to his herbal field in the middle of the night to play trick. He was discovered by him and hurriedly fled to Nanshan Hill. What's wrong? Nothing. Wang Yao shook his head. Now he could be sure that Wang Jiangang was very suspicious. However, Wang Yao still admired this person who dared to do bad things in the middle of the night and then went deep into the mountains. It was a pity that he walked a lot at night and always did bad things. In the end, he encountered a ghost. Chapter 42. Don't worry. I'll take care of your sister. I happen to have a friend working there. Wang Mingbao immediately agreed. Let me know if there's anything, Wang Yao said. Okay. The two brothers chatted for a while. Wang Mingbao got up and left. Hundreds of miles away in Dao, there were 3 people in the hall of a quiet antique villa. One was a middle-aged man, one was an old man in his 60s, and the other was a plump and graceful woman. The middle-aged man was Tian Yuantu, who had just asked for the Anshensen from Wang Yao during the day. The old man in his 60s held the bottle in his hand. He poured a little and put it into his mouth. How is it, Uncle Gu? The woman asked softly. The old man didn't speak. After a while, he opened his eyes and looked at the woman in shock. Ginseng, angelica, licorice. If Wang Yao was here, he would be very surprised because the old man could tell most of the herbs used in the Anshensen just by tasting it. His ability was really amazing. Good medicine! The old man with the surname Gu exclaimed. Master Gu, can Rong Qing use this medicine? Tian Yuantu asked. Yes, how many times have I told you? I'm not a master, the old man with the surname Gu said with a smile. Where did you get this medicine? In Lianshan County. I got it by chance. Oh? Can you take me to see the master who made the medicine? The old man with the surname Gu asked. Well, that person's rules are a bit strange. Tian Yuantu looked embarrassed. It was undoubtedly a good thing to be recognized by Master Gu. Moreover, he actually called the person who made the medicine Master. Tian Yuantu, who knew Master Gu's real identity, was even more shocked. The old man looked kind, but in fact, he had very high standards and didn't praise people easily. This meant that Wang Yao and the master behind him were brilliant. It was natural to make friends with such people. No one could guarantee that he wouldn't get sick in his life. If he took people to see him rashly, he might be recognized by Master Gu. However, it would be bad if he made Wang Yao unhappy. It's okay. I'm just curious. There's a very magical medicine in this medicine, the old man with the surname Gu said. If he wants to see me, set a time and call me. Okay. Tian Tuyuan had no choice but to agree. Can I give this medicine to Rongqing? Yes, how to take it? The old man with the surname Gu asked Tian Yuantu. Take it warm and finish it within 3 days, Tian Yuantu said. Your wife was cured by him? The old man with the surname Gu suddenly thought of something. Yes, this is the medicine he used. Tian Yuantu had also taken his wife to ask Master Gu for treatment. He had helped to give her acupuncture and prescribed a medicine. At first, it was effective. It stopped his wife's illness and showed signs of improvement. However, the medicine led to another side effect, diarrhea and vomiting. He had no choice but to stop taking it. Then I'll take it to him. The three of them went upstairs and came to a room. The decoration of the room was very warm. There was also a calming incense burning. There was a big bed by the window. A person was lying on the bed. His face was sallow and emaciated. His complexion was very poor. His eyes were half closed and half open. His breathing was weak. There was advanced first aid equipment next to the bed. As soon as they entered the room, they heard the woman sigh. Tian Yuantu looked at the man on the bed. He used to be a handsome man, but now he was as thin as dry wood. Now, he was relying on medicine to hang on to half of his life. He could die at any time. The woman whispered in his ear 3 times. Then, she carefully fed him a small part of the anshensen. The old man with the surname Gu felt the man's pulse. After a while, he got up. It's still the same. Take this medicine warm and finish it within 3 days. Okay, the woman said. Let him have a good rest. Tian Yuantu didn't stay in the villa for long. He got up and said goodbye. After Tian Yuantu left, the old man with the surname Gu suddenly said to the woman, Xiaoxue, give me the medicine. The woman didn't ask much. She handed the medicine to the old man. The old man took out a small bottle from his coat pocket. He poured out a little and carefully sealed it. Uncle Gu, is there any problem with this medicine? The woman asked. No problem, but I'm very curious about its composition. Take it back and test it. Rongqing, take good care of it, the old man with the surname Gu said. Okay, the woman responded. It's just that you've suffered. The old man looked at the graceful woman. She was only 30 years old. It was the best time of a woman's life. She had married into a rich family. She had been at ease to take care of her husband and children and live a comfortable life. However, her husband had a strange disease and showed no signs of improvement. For her, this kind of life as a living widow was really difficult. Once I marry into a noble family, it's as deep as the sea. I accept it, the woman said. The old man looked at the woman with love. If it weren't for her, he wouldn't care so much about the patient on the bed. So what if he was from a rich family? The sky outside the house gradually brightened. On Nanshan Hill, a stone rock was quite out of place. On it, a person was sitting upright, breathing and guiding qi. Wang Yao closed his eyes. He felt warm qi coming from the east and shining on his body. It was the rising sun. His body rose and fell with each breath. Guiding qi in the morning and reciting sutras in the evening had been something he had to do for the past few days. At about 9 o'clock, Wang Yao returned to the cottage. Today was the 7th day. He still had a decoction to decoct. Selecting the herbs, weighing the herbs, washing the herbs, soaking the herbs, lighting the fire, and decocting them step by step, methodically and carefully. 1 decoction, 1 success. Task: prepare 10 decoctions within 7 days. Completed. When the 7th decoction was successfully prepared, Wang Yao heard the system prompt. However, this time, except for a little more reward points, there was no additional reward. With 25 reward points, plus the previous accumulation, it seems that I can exchange for the 5 Elements Formation book. Wang Yao clicked on the medicine shop in the system and exchanged for the 5 Elements Formation elementary book. Suddenly, he only had 5 reward points left. Looking at the ancient book in his hand, Wang Yao couldn't wait to open it. The content of the book was a simple principle of setting up a battle array. It was not about setting up a battle array in a marching army. Instead, it was about setting up a battle array with mountains, water, forests, wood, and other objects. It was mainly for defense, which was what Wang Yao needed at this time. Since obtaining the formation book, Wang Yao studied the formation book day and night in addition to taking care of the herbal field, guiding qi, and reciting sutras every day. Time passed day by day, and the weather gradually became cold. One day, Wang Yao went down the mountain, left the village, and came to the town. He was going to buy some saplings. What? You want to buy saplings at this time to plant a greenhouse? Hearing that Wang Yao wanted to buy saplings, the people in Miaofu were stunned. Ah! Wang Yao just responded. Why do you need saplings? At this time, even if you take them back, they won't survive. The man kindly advised. It was late autumn and winter was coming. Who would plant trees? Jujube, poplar, boxwood, and smile. Ah! That person was stunned after hearing this. Chapter 43. What kind of nonsense is this? Are you sure? The man repeated. Yes, please send it to my house later. Okay. These seedlings were available in the seedling mound, but no one came to buy them at this time. Moreover, the plant species that the person in front of him had chosen was also a mess. There were plants that could be used as raw materials, economic plants, and ornamental plants. It was a big platter, and it was a big platter without any pattern. Hey, I think you are working for nothing. Wang Yao didn't care. The quantity of each type was not small. There were more than dozens of seedlings. The total number was hundreds. After paying the money, the man drove the seedlings to the foot of Nanshan Hill. Are you going to plant them on the hill? Looking at Nanshan Hill, the man was stunned. Ah, why? Wang Yao asked with a smile. Nothing. If you can plant them, no matter what seedlings you want in the future, as long as I have them, I will give them to you for free. The man said. Are you serious? Wang Yao asked. Although I am not a gentleman, my spit is a nail. I will keep my word. The man patted his chest. Are you kidding? If this is successful, pigs will fly. Okay, it's a deal. It's a deal. The man helped Wang Yao send the seedlings to the hill. Then, he saw the herbs growing crazily in the herbal field. What are these? The man was stunned. He was in the seedling business, so he wasn't good at growing herbs. Herbs? Herbs? It's almost winter, but they are still green. Are they evergreen all year round? Ah, yes. Wang Yao hesitated for a moment before answering. They look good. The man put the bundles of seedlings on the open space and left. Before leaving, he left his business card. As soon as the man left, Wang Yao began to get busy. He walked back and forth around the house a few times, then took out the book, 5 Elemental Formations, from the system and carefully read it. He made a mark on the ground, then returned to the house, took out a shovel, and began to dig a hole in the ground, preparing to plant trees. This was the most basic formation he had learned from the book after studying it for a period of time. It was an illusory formation, using trees and rocks as the foundation. Once the formation was successfully arranged, it would cause people outside to hallucinate. They could clearly enter, but in their eyes there might be a tree in front of them, or a rock in front of them. It would be like encountering a ghost in the daytime. Because it was his first time doing such a thing, Wang Yao was not confident. After all, it was a legendary existence. He could only carefully follow the prescribed order. Digging holes, planting trees, and then following the description in the formation, he dug holes and planted trees. The trees and shrubs were intertwined with each other inside and outside. Because it was his first time arranging a formation, although he had the book, he was not confident. Plus, he had to dig holes to plant trees. Therefore, Wang Yao's progress was very slow. He only planted a few rows of trees in the house and on the east side of the herbal field. After watering them with diluted ancient spring water, he went down the hill to eat and then returned to the hill. The same thing happened the next day. Then, there were gossips in the village again. After all, not everyone could do such a strange thing as planting trees in winter. Did you know that Feng Hua's son is starting to mess around? Planting trees on the hill, right? Yes, it's not impossible to plant trees at this time. But he planted all kinds of trees, such as jujube trees, poplar trees, boxwood. Isn't he messing around? Let him mess around. It's none of our business. Nanshan Hill is such a good place. What a waste. What a waste. Nanshan Hill has been there for so many years. It's good to have someone to contract it. I heard that he contracted it for 20 years and promised to give the village 20,000 yuan a year. Humph, don't jump into the river again. The gossip in the village naturally reached the ears of Wang Yao's parents. Yao, you're planting trees on the hill? Zhang Xiuying asked during dinner that night. Yes, what's wrong? It's almost winter. Why are you still planting trees? Oh, one of my college classmates said that he got some microbial fertilizer in school. He heard that I was planting herbs at home and wanted me to help test the effect. He was in a hurry, so I got some saplings to try. Wang Yao had already thought of an excuse to deal with his parents. He didn't blush or pant when he said that. Oh, I see. That's good, that's good. Zhang Xiuying was relieved. She thought that her son was at a dead end again. Wang Yao heaved a sigh of relief when he heard that. He thought that he had finally passed this hurdle. Since then, no matter how much the villagers gossiped, Wang Yao's parents didn't ask much. Wang Yao also calmed down. He took care of the herbal field, guided qi, studied the array, and recited scriptures. He was very fulfilling. It took him a total of 9 days to complete this set of battle arrays. At this time, the sun was setting in the west. The sky was slightly dark. It's done. Wang Yao looked at the illusion array he had set up with saplings and rocks. I wonder how effective it will be? He took a few steps back and suddenly felt his vision blur. Hey, what's going on? He was slightly startled because he clearly remembered that there was nothing in front of him just now. However, there was a small sapling now. It was less than 1 meter tall and as thin as a little finger. Could it be that this illusion array has begun to exert its power? But I'm inside, not outside? Wang Yao took a few steps back and then walked out of the hut according to the path left in the array. Looking from outside, he saw that the hut was surrounded by rows of saplings. When he took a few steps closer, something strange happened. Suddenly, there was another sapling in front of him. This sapling was much thicker than when he had planted it. It was more than 3 times thicker. He walked closer and stretched out his hand to touch it, but there was nothing. He took another step forward and the sapling disappeared. There was indeed a rock in front of him. It was about the height of a person and nearly half a meter wide. There were trees on both sides. He did use rocks when he was setting up the array, but the largest one was only a few centimeters tall. He couldn't move it if it was too big. However, this rock was obviously much bigger. Is this the power of the illusion array? Wang Yao took a step back. The rock in front of him disappeared, and there was a sapling in front of him. This illusion array was really magical. However, this sapling was too thin. It would take some time for it to exert its real power. After the array was completed, Wang Yao spent less time on the 5 elements array every day. Instead, he spent more time on reciting and comprehending the natural classic. For this reason, he specially bought other famous Taoist scriptures, such as the Tao Te Ching, the True Scripture of Nanhua, and the Huangting Scripture, for reference. On this day, in the sky, the sun was dim and the wind was cold. Chapter 44. In the cottage, Wang Yao was reading a scripture book. During this period of practice, he felt that the qi in his lower abdomen had become much stronger. It could also travel along the meridians in his body. However, there were some places where it could go and some places where it couldn't. He wasn't in a hurry. He just read some books. He was already familiar with the meridians in his body. He had learned the 8 extraordinary meridians and the 12 standard meridians when he was enlightened. The natural classics talked about the way of nature. Go with the flow and don't force it. Woof, woof, woof. Dogs were barking outside, and then he heard the roar of a car. Since he drank ancient spring water and practiced the Taoist scripture, Wang Yao felt that his 5 senses had been enhanced a lot. He could hear some subtle sounds from a distance. Not only did his eyes and ears become better, but his thinking and memory also improved a lot. It was a Land Rover coming up the mountain. Tian Yuantu got out of the car. What? Before he got close to the herb field, he saw the saplings planted outside. They didn't look like much from afar, but when he got closer, he followed the original path and continued to go deeper. But after a few steps, a rock suddenly blocked his way. The rock appeared a little abruptly, as if it had suddenly emerged from the ground. On both sides of the rock were saplings that didn't look very thick. There seemed to be no way to go. What's going on? Move 1 step to the left. Go forward. At this time, he heard a voice. He looked up and saw a man standing in the cottage, not far away. It was Wang Yao. Tian Yuantu moved 1 step to the left. He found that there was a sapling in front of him. He hesitated for a moment, but he still took a step forward. He found that there was a path leading to the cottage in front of him. What? He was so shocked that he stood there in a daze. After traveling for so many years, he had seen a lot of strange things and heard a lot of rumors, including the 5 elements, the 8 trigrams, and the Qimen Duanjia. He always thought that these were just things in the legends. He didn't expect to see them here today. On this hill, there was an ordinary-looking young man. Brother Tian, why are you here? Wang Yao asked with a smile. What was that just now? Tian Yuantu still hadn't recovered from the shock. I was bored, so I planted some saplings and put some things on display. Put something on the table while he was at it? If some people knew that he was just casually putting on a show, who knew how many jaws would drop in shock? After this incident, Tian Yuantu's evaluation of Wang Yao immediately went up a notch. At this moment, in his opinion, the young man in front of him was clearly an expert with unique skills. He must get along well with such a person, and his attitude naturally had to change. For a moment, he actually didn't know how to address Wang Yao. The kind of little brother from before was obviously not suitable. What's wrong, big brother Tian? Noticing Tian Yuantu's awkwardness, Wang Yao also felt a little surprised. Could it be that the illusory formation just now scared him? In fact, Tian Yuantu's reaction at this time was already shocking. If it were others, they would have shouted out in surprise. After all, this only existed in novels and movies. Sorry, I was too surprised. I didn't expect to see something legendary here. After a moment, Tian Yuantu, who recovered from the shock, sighed. What legendary thing? You flatter me. Wang Yao smiled and waved his hand. Please sit down. After Tian Yuantu sat down, Wang Yao made him a cup of tea. Every time I drink this tea, it's a pleasure, Tian Yuantu said. Next year, I'll give you some. Wang Yao looked at the dozen tea trees in the distance and thought, with the magical effect of the ancient spring water, I think I can harvest them next year. Really? That's a deal, Tian Yuantu said with a smile. Well, but not too much. Half a tael is good. Is there something you need this time? There is indeed something, Tian Yuantu said. What is it? Two things. First, I want to ask for another dose of anshensen. In fact, he came this time at the request of someone. His friend who was lying in the hospital bed had a certain effect after taking the first dose of anshensen. This surprised his family, so they asked him to ask for a second dose. That's no problem. Wang Yao listened and laughed. One dose of anshensen cost more than 200,000 yuan, and he could also exchange it for Tao reward points. Why not? What's the second thing? Someone wants to see you or your master, Tian Yuantu said. Tian Yuantu said. After spending some time with Wang Yao, especially after what happened today, he was sure that Wang Yao had a master behind him. If he didn't have the guidance of a master, how could a young college student learn such skills? That kind of genius only existed in dramas and novels. Who? Wang Yao frowned slightly. Gu Qiuqi, a Chinese medicine master. Tian Yuantu carefully observed the changes in Wang Yao's expression when he said the name. A Chinese medicine master? Why does he want to see me? Because of the anshensen. Huh? Wang Yao thought for a while and understood the key point. He also knew that this matter might be a little troublesome. As the saying goes, an ordinary man is innocent, but treasuring a jade ring is his crime. He was now equivalent to having a precious treasure, but he did not have much ability to protect himself. In front of some influential people, he had to bow his head. If the other party had any ulterior motives, he would be at a disadvantage. He was not afraid of being alone, but he had family and friends. I don't want to see him, Wang Yao said. Brother Tian, help me find a reason to turn him down. Okay. Tian Yuantu immediately responded. In fact, he originally wanted to be on good terms with Wang Yao. After seeing the mysterious and unparalleled battle array today, he was even more determined in his inner heart. Although Gu Qiuqi was a Chinese medicine master, he was thousands of miles away from them and had a special identity. If it was not because of a chance opportunity, even Tian Yuantu, who was rich, could not easily meet Wang Yao. Unlike Wang Yao, who was close at hand in Shanxing. As for how to answer Gu Qiuqi, there were too many easy reasons. Are these herbs all ripe? It'll take a while. Wang Yao looked at the ordinary herbs he planted. With the watering of the ancient spring water, they grew at an amazing speed. They even went against the law of natural growth, but it would take a while to harvest them. When can I come to get the medicine? Tomorrow. Okay. After chatting with Wang Yao for a while, Tian Yuantu said goodbye and left. Chapter 45. He walked out of the herbal field, and almost subconsciously turned around to look. He saw a group of saplings. They were very slender and easily broken. Behind the saplings stood a man. The temperament of this young man was getting stronger and stronger. Tian Yuantu had been shocked by the mystery of the saplings, so he hadn't collected himself in time. However, as he chatted with Wang Yao, his mind gradually calmed down. He then found that the young man sitting next to him was different. The temperament of this young man became more and more obvious. He was like a pine tree in the forest, a river in the deep mountains, and a cloud in the sky. He was far away from the world and detached from the mortal world. How could there be such a person here, and he was so young? It wasn't the first time he sighed in the car. Isn't it a bit too much? Standing in front of the cottage, and looking at the saplings in front of him, Wang Yao thought of the shocked expression on Tian Yuantu's face. He rubbed his forehead. Fortunately, the place where he planted the saplings was close to the cottage and was relatively remote. According to his experience during this period of time, basically no one would come here except for his parents and friends like Wang Mingbao. In this way there would be relatively less trouble. After seeing Tian Yuantu off, Wang Yao picked 2 leaves of the moonlight herb and went into the cottage to decoct the anshensen. It was simmering on a small fire. A faint smell of medicine drifted out of the cottage and was then blown away by the mountain wind. Wang Yao was already familiar with this process. Even so, he was still very serious and careful. It's done. A white porcelain bottle and a panacea that could nourish the heart and calm the mind. In the afternoon, Wang Yao continued his own chanting and cultivation journey. It was rare for him to have a quiet and natural time. The next day, Tian Yuantu came to pick up the medicine. He sat for a short while and then left. After he left, Wang Yao studied the scriptures. The sun outside the cottage was a bit pale. The weather at the end of November was a bit cold. The mountain wind was quite cold, and there were not many people going up the mountain. After reading the scriptures for a while, he looked at the distant hills and the sky and was lost in thought. The mountain was very quiet. The sky was very quiet. All of a sudden, his body shuddered. That aura started from his abdomen and circled around his waist and abdomen before returning. This process repeated several times. He felt a warmth in his waist and abdomen, which gradually spread throughout his body. Wang Yao was overjoyed. The belt meridian, the total bundle of all the meridians, has been opened. What benefits would that bring? He opened the system panel and looked at it carefully. His character attributes had changed quite a bit. Physique 2. 0. Strength 1. 5. Spirit 1. 8. Agility 1. 5. Willpower 1. 7. His various attributes had been greatly improved. It was only a momentary joy, and then it returned to normal. His mind was calm, and he looked at the clouds calmly. Ring ring buzz. At this time, the phone on the table rang. Wang Yao took it and looked at it. It was an unfamiliar number. He didn't answer. The phone rang for a while and then hung up. However, less than half an hour later, the phone rang again. It was still the same unknown number. Hello. Wang Yao answered the phone. Hello, Wang Yao? There was a woman's voice on the other end of the phone. Her voice was pleasant and crisp. Yes, it's me. Who are you? I'm Guo Sairu. Guo Sairu? Hearing this name, Wang Yao thought of a beautiful woman who came to the mountain to ask for medicine a few days ago. She was beautiful and refined. She had a heroic courage that was rarely seen in men. Hello, Ms. Guo. What's the matter? Are you still on Nanshan Hill? Yes. Are you free? I want to visit you, Guo Sairu said on the other end of the phone. What time? In the afternoon? Wang Yao thought for a while and said, Okay. Why is Guo Sairu here again? After hanging up the phone, Wang Yao couldn't figure it out. However, he didn't think much about it. He just went out of the cottage and slightly changed the battle array outside. He removed the arrangement on the path to the herbal field so as not to cause any unnecessary trouble. In the afternoon, an inconspicuous car drove into the village and stopped at the foot of the mountain. 2 people got out of the car, a man and a woman. The woman was graceful. However, she was wearing a pair of sunglasses, so her face couldn't be seen clearly. However, she was a beauty. The man was about 40 years old. He had a long face and a slightly yellow complexion. He was wearing a Chinese tunic suit, which made him look rustic. Uncle He, why are you so worried about me? The woman asked the man with a smile. Miss, your identity is different. Recently, hike has been a bit chaotic. I have nothing to do. Just take it as a trip to relax. The two of them went up the mountain along the rugged mountain path. I didn't expect that there would be a young man who could be patient enough to make medicine on the mountain. I was so muddle-headed that I actually wanted to ask him for help. The woman laughed at herself. Just take it as a trip to relax. After going around a mountain, another mountain appeared in front of them. Halfway up the mountain, there were more than a dozen big trees and a small cottage standing there quietly. I hope he can bring me an unexpected surprise. The two of them walked at a moderate pace. At this moment, the mountain wind started to get stronger. It was a bit cold. When they reached the top of the mountain and approached the cottage, they naturally saw the saplings. He's still planting trees at this time? Guosairu was surprised. It's not that he can't plant trees at this time. Some trees can be planted, but most trees are not suitable for planting. The middle-aged man glanced at the saplings and suddenly stopped. This is... What's wrong, Uncle He? Guosairu asked. How is this possible? The middle-aged man's face was filled with shock. Then, he impatiently ran to the front of the hut. The slender saplings swayed slightly in the mountain wind. The middle-aged man came in front of the saplings and reached out. One of the saplings was in his hand. He then let go and stepped into the gap between the two saplings. He saw a mountain rock in front of him. It was about the height of a person. It blocked the view in front of him. He reached out to touch it, but it was not real. It's real, it's real. The middle-aged man was trembling because of excitement. He looked up in front of him. Although his view was blocked, he couldn't wait to see the young man again. Uncle He? At this moment, he heard a call behind him. He came back to his senses. He took a step to the left and then took a step back to get out of the illusion. I'm sorry, Mississippi. I lost my composure, he said to the beauty beside him. It's fine. I'm curious why Uncle He lost his composure. Is it because of these saplings? Guosairu asked in surprise. She was very familiar with the middle-aged man's personality. After all these years, it was extremely rare for him to lose his composure like this. The last time it happened was because of her grandfather's illness. That was something that happened 3 years ago. These saplings are ordinary, but they are different when placed together. If you don't believe me, miss, you can try walking a few steps. The middle-aged man pointed at the inconspicuous forest of saplings in front of them. Oh, I'd like to try. Guosairu walked in with a smile. Then, she was stunned. Chapter 46. How is this possible? She encountered the same thing as the middle-aged man. However, unlike the former, she did not have any mental preparation at all. She just stood there in a daze. In fact, at this time, the saplings were very thin and could not stop people at all. If they wanted to break through, they would naturally be able to do so. However, it was inevitable that they would be badly injured. Take a step to the left and then back away. Just as Guosairu was shocked and did not know how to deal with it, she suddenly heard a prompt behind her. So, she did as she was told and came out of the formation. What is this? She grew up in an aristocratic family and naturally had a wide range of knowledge. However, it was the first time she had seen such a mysterious thing. Chimen Duanjia, 5 elements and 8 trigrams, treasures that have been passed down for thousands of years. I always thought that these things were antiques that were hidden deep in the hands of people. I did not expect to see them here. This is really surprising. I am now more and more curious about the identity of this young man. At this time, the young man that they were anxious to see was standing outside the door. When Wang Yao heard the dog barking outside the house, he knew that someone had come up the mountain again. He went out the door and saw 2 familiar figures. Miss Guo, Mr. He. Why do I feel awkward when you call me that? I should be slightly older than you. You can call me sister. As for this, you can call him Uncle He or Lao He, Guosairu said. Okay. Wang Yao smiled. This formation was set up by you? The middle-aged man asked impatiently. Yes, why? Wang Yao asked with a smile. Who is your teacher? I read books and learned it myself, Wang Yao said with a smile. What? Guosairu and the man were stunned. That's impossible, the man said with a smile. Why? Wang Yao asked. The middle-aged man did not answer directly. Instead, he asked this question first. Do you know the Book of Changes? No. Wang Yao shook his head. What about the 5 elements and 8 trigrams? I know a little about this, Wang Yao said. He was not lying. The 5 elements formation did mention the 5 elements. As for the 8 trigrams, it was only mentioned slightly. Do you know yin and yang? I know a little. Wang Yao's reply surprised the middle-aged man. He was not lying. The natural classics given by the system mentioned the way of yin and yang. It was the most fundamental and mysterious thing. He had read a lot of classic Taoist scriptures these days, and many of them mentioned the way of yin and yang. Do you know geography? Wang Yao shook his head. He knew that the geography that the middle-aged man was talking about was not the geography that he had learned in school. He was afraid that it was something deeper, such as geomancy. Based on what I know, this formation is not simple. If you want to succeed, you need to understand the Book of Changes, the 5 elements, yin and yang, and geography. If you don't, it will only have a form. However, this formation of yours already has a spirit. He Qixing said, if you really comprehended this array on your own, then you are worthy of being called a peerless genius. Wang Yao was slightly surprised when he heard this, and he became vigilant in his heart. As the saying goes, an ordinary man is innocent, but treasuring a jade ring becomes a crime. Sometimes, knowing too much might not be a good thing, especially in this society. He Qixing in front of him was obviously very interested in this formation. Uncle He? Guosairu coughed. Sorry, I was so surprised that I lost my composure. The middle-aged man just came back to his senses. It's okay. I think you two didn't come here just to ask this question, right? Wang Yao smiled. Well, I wonder if you can introduce us to your master? Guosairu asked. No. Wang Yao refused without thinking. Why? My master doesn't see outsiders, and he is no longer in Lianshan County. Where did he go? Guosairu hurriedly asked. He went to the northwest. Wang Yao's lie was getting bigger and harder to cover. In the end, he simply said that his master did not know where he went. Northwest? Guosairu frowned. Miss, maybe he can help, the middle-aged man next to her reminded her softly. Well, Guosairu looked at Wang Yao. Can he do it? It's like this. An elder in my family is in bad health, and I want to ask an expert to take a look. Hug. Before Wang Yao could finish his words, he heard a prompt from the system. Task. Special request. Fulfill Guosairu's request. Reward. A pack of seeds, a prescription. Failure penalty. Any attribute reduced by 1. Note. Cannot leave the mountain voluntarily. Every single time, the system's quest would be such a scam. Most importantly, this time, he didn't even know what illness the other party's family members were suffering from. Furthermore, they couldn't take the initiative to leave the mountain, which meant that the other party had to come to the mountain. With his current half-baked skills, he would definitely be exposed when the time came. Fortunately, there was no time limit this time. Well, what illness does your relative have? Wang Yao hesitated for a moment before asking. Body failure, multiple organ failure, Guosairu said. What? This kind of illness was extremely difficult to treat. He had been enlightened by the system once, and he had already gained some knowledge. He had also read some medical books and knew that there were many reasons for organ failure in the body. It was very complicated to analyze. How old is he? 84 years old. So old? Wang Yao frowned. I can try. What? Really? Guosairu and the middle-aged man spoke at the same time, but the content was different. But I have something to do, and I can't leave the mountain for a while. If you want to see a doctor, can you ask your family to come to the mountain? Wang Yao said. My grandfather lies in bed all day, and he can't even speak clearly now. How can he come here? Guosairu smiled bitterly. I see. Can you show me his medical records and other information? He didn't have to complete this task. After all, the penalty for failure was only a deduction of 1 attribute point. Based on his current situation, it would affect him, but it wasn't particularly big. However, if he could, he would still try his best to complete it. Okay, I'll bring it to you as soon as possible. Don't just stand there. The mountain wind is cold. Come in and have a seat. Wang Yao smiled and invited the two into the cottage. There was a small table and a pot of tea with a faint aroma. Good tea. After taking a sip of tea, Guosairu's eyes lit up. It is indeed good. The middle-aged man sighed as he held the teacup. The two of them were not ordinary people. It could be said that they had tasted almost all the famous tea in the country. However, today's cup of tea surprised them. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Nights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.